Let's start on a positive note. I think it's only fair to start on a positive.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Star Wars Force Awakens.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Sure, I love that movie. I actually
Um,
really like that one.
yeah, and that's kind of my I think that's a great starting point because that one was not bad.
No, it was
Uh,
it was good.
yeah, it was a really solid. I mean, I didn't. It wasn't my favorite. It's never going to be my favorite Star Wars.
Of course
That's
not.
not going to
Yeah,
happen.
of course not. Nothing can be better than Empire, but
Um, yeah, and well, that's the thing. Like, just as a Star Wars movie, it was fine. It was good. The movie wasn't bad. It wasn't insulting.
it was just A New Hope redone with new characters. It's fine.
Yeah, pretty much. So there was no real issue there. And I think that's something that I hear a lot is people think, if you don't like the new movies, you just think all of them are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
You just hate them, regardless of whether they had any merit. And that's not true because I think the perfect one to show that that's not true is definitely Force Awakens. Force Awakens.
Well, I think Episode 3 is actually the best example of a good non-original trilogy movie.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Because Episode 3 actually is good.
Here's before we cut into prequels here, because I'm gonna say something that I know I'll get shit for, especially for being someone who doesn't like Disney sequels.
Mm-hmm.
I think the prequels are fucking amazing.
Well, I mean,
Period. I think they're fucking great. I think they stand next to the original trilogy.
even the part in Episode 2 when Anakin
Yes.
confesses to
Yes.
murdering everyone and Padme's
Yes.
just like, yeah, I'm cool with this.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Because
Do you know why I think that's okay?
Because the plot required them to be together.
No, because it explains why Anakin's a fucking psychopath. Because his enabling girlfriend, who rich, used to be a queen, is okay with just blindly ignoring horrible things.
Yeah.
Because it happens to be someone she likes. And this leads to Anakin being okay with blindly ignoring warning signs of Palpatine being a fucking psychopathic asshole.
Fair enough.
Because he likes Palpatine.
Yeah.
Because, I think one of the things that a lot of people do is you look at Anakin as, a full-grown adult, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, he's an adult, he can make his own decisions, but then you remember, this guy is essentially a teenager. He hasn't made a decision for himself.
Right.
He spent most of his time, still in school.
I mean, I don't think anyone would argue that he's immature. I mean,
yeah, and so think about the first immature relationship you had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's with a older, person or an older woman.
Sure.
They're going to kind of dictate how that relationship goes. They're going to kind of teach you the do's and don'ts, not just about a intimate relationship, but just relationships in general.
Yeah.
What's kind of okay to ignore, what's not okay to do to, talk over someone, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Anakin's first relationship is with again, psychopathic fucking queen who thinks it's completely fine to ignore and belittle people until they are the only hope you have. Like the Gungans, right? She was queen for a long time, okay? It's not like she was newly queen. And the Gungans make a point that they have always felt ostracized by the Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
That the Naboo people fucking feel that they're better than the Gungans. That the Gungans are lesser people than them. That's not something that just happens by a miscommunication. That's something that is deep-seated shit has happened for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
An unresolved issue. Probably not helped by the ruling fucking of fucking Padme.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, she gave no shits about them until they were her only hope to recontrol their planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
So just by looking at her relationship with Anakin, we can see how, she kind of warps his brain on what's an okay way to act like a human being.
Mm-hmm.
What's an okay way to treat people. And she also has no regard for, Jedi are supposed to be very, we don't really kill people unless we have to.
Mm-hmm.
negotiations are better, that kind of thing. That bitch never negotiates.
Yeah.
The second she got a gun, she started shooting every motherfucker in eyesight.
Yeah.
Like, droid or not droid, she just started shooting. She
Mm-hmm.
gets about fucking negotiating. She doesn't negotiate unless she, has the lower hand.
Yeah.
Second she has the upper hand, she's a fucking ruthless killer.
Well.
And I think that's important to show because Anakin, as we see the movies, is much the same way. He's kind of sarcastic and jokey, but he also kind of never believes he has the lower hand.
Mm-hmm.
But the second he gets the upper hand, oh, you're dying. It's fucking over.
Right.
Like, he's not going to sit there and chit-chat with you. He's going to fucking murder you. And the one time that we see him even contemplate negotiation or being a good human being is with Count Dooku, which is immediately overridden when Palpatine's like, fucking kill him. And Anakin's like,
he's like,
everything in my life has taught me, yeah, this is what I should do. So he fucking kills him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and even that moment is a great moment of showing his struggle. He knows something about this isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
But the people closest to him, Palpatine and Padme, have told him time and time again, it's fine to kill people when they're a danger to people you care about.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it goes against everything you're taught. Which is fucked.
Yeah.
And so I think like the prequels get a really bad rap because there's moments that aren't like everyone complains about the sand, right?
Well, it's hilarious.
The fucking Anakin talking about
Such
sand.
a hilarious line because he
think
lives on
about
a
it?
sand planet his whole
Yeah,
life. should
wouldn't
be
you
fine with
fucking
it.
hate sand?
Well, I mean,
Wouldn't
do you
you?
hate the rain? We live in the rainy area.
Yes.
Oh.
I like sitting out in the rain every once in a while, but rain is also different from sand. Sandstorms will fuck you up. It's not like we live in a place where, like our rainstorms are going to topple houses or fucking, shred skin from bone. Sandstorms are fucking vicious, man.
Yeah.
Not to mention, this guy was a slave in the sand. So we're talking hot as shit, constantly being fucking like probably shot at by Tusken Raiders, which we see when he's fucking pod racing.
Yeah.
Fucking getting yelled at by a fucking bat with wings who has a fucking weird ass accent who's just a dick all the time. There is no salvation for Anakin. He grew up like all of his mental attachments to sand is just I hate it. Everyone connected to sand is an asshole. Everyone who thinks about sand is an asshole. Fuck sand. And so like taking that perspective and then like dialing it up, right? Also, think about that conversation, right? When he's sitting with Padme.
Mm-hmm.
They're trapped on a fucking planet that he has never really talked with a woman before. Like, not one he likes. The last time he talked to this woman was fucking, like, what, 12 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
3 years ago? Yeah, like,
I don't remember.
it's been a fucking while. He doesn't know how to talk to a woman. He doesn't know how to express his feelings. He doesn't know how to go, like, hey, wanna bang? Like, also, above that, he's just been in, like, he literally has just spent the last years of his life being told by the Jedi, hey, you're not allowed to have feelings.
True.
Your mom, who's still a slave, you can't worry about her, because if you worry about her, you'll just turn evil. So don't have emotions, don't care about people, and if you start to care about people, fucking know that you're bad and you're a bad person, and don't do that.
Right.
And, like, that's not fucking okay. That's not healthy. Especially for, like, someone that's not in that brainwashed cult from the beginning. Like,
right.
Anakin was never going to adapt to that situation easily at all. Let alone then going, hey, you're a horny teenager. You know that chick you liked when you were, like, fucking 8?
9.
Well, now that your hormones are 9, but, like, your fucking hormones have kicked in, and you're now a full-grown, you're like a full teenager with raging hormones,
Mm-hmm.
gonna put you alone in the middle of nowhere with her.
I'm curious about how old do you think Anakin was in episode 2?
Well, he's got to be like 16, right?
Really? Fuck. So that means Padme
Well,
was 21. I mean, it's just really awkward.
There's a part where he says how long it's been
Yeah,
since
I know.
he's seen her. So I'm gonna pull that up. I can't remember. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up.
Because all I know is the 5-year age gap is really fucking weird too. Like, why does
I
she
mean,
like him? You know, like if you're a 21-year-old, do you really find an interest in a 16-year-old? That's kind of weird. You know?
yes, that is a thing,
I mean, that's
unfortunately.
like, ugh.
But also, 5 years. You got to think of it in context, right? If she's 14 and he's 8, that's
9.
already like, or 9, whatever. Anyways, let me play it again. So
Yeah.
I'm playing that part. Oh my god, Progressive, your commercials loud. Fuck off. But like there are people with higher weight or age differences between. It doesn't really get iffy until she's 21 and he's 16. You're like, ugh. All right, so I'm playing the part.
Or hell, when she's 18 and
Hold
he's
on, hold on.
13.
I'm playing this scene, so I'm trying to listen.
Okay. Yeah. No, fair enough.
Ten years. This fucker's 19.
Oh shit, really? So then she would have been 24.
Holy shit. Okay, he's 19. So that means, he spent 10 years of life telling him, like, this kid went through puberty being stuck with only one other dude most
Yeah.
of the time,
Yeah.
or being trapped in a temple looking at other women and going, hey, keep your emotions in check. And then that chick that he's had in his head this whole time thinking about and how much he wants to bang her is fucking like just suddenly presented to him again, and she's flirting with him and like showing interest, and then they're like, hey, yeah, you two that are clearly attracted to each other, we're gonna have you guys fuck off to her home planet, which the last time you were there you fucking saved it,
Right.
so there's that. And yeah, we're just gonna trust that you guys don't fucking do anything. Like, no, of course the kid's gonna be fucked, man. And when he's there, right, so the whole thing is that he doesn't know how to talk to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way he's talking is awkward. And so he's like, okay, well, what do I say to her? You know, like, and he's thinking, and he's like, sand. I can talk about sand. Because she brings up sand, by the way, in that conversation.
Yeah.
She talks about, like, well, go to the nice beaches on whatever. And he's like, I hate sand. Fuck sand.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. You know, if you were trapped in a rainforest for 40 years of your life, or for 8 years of your life being a slave, you'd probably hate the fucking rain. Or like boggy weather. It probably wouldn't be the greatest fucking place for you.
Yeah.
So like thinking about it that way, and then like she brings it up, and he's like, "Yeah, I hate sand. I fuck it. Sand sucks. It's everywhere. I hate it." And he's kind of like,
it's rough and irritating,
yeah,
and it gets everywhere. Yeah.
and that's the point. Is that this really like he's a teenager who doesn't know how to talk? Because I've heard the theory that the whole Star Wars movies, the prequels, are being told by R2. Which is why people sound robotic or things seem extravagant. R2's kind of like a hero.
Well, yeah, you can fly.
Like that's a cute little headcanon, and if somebody wants to stick with that, that's fine.
It's a nice thought.
I don't have a problem with that. At the same time, I think it's also like there are other explanations for kind of the writing and the way that everyone acts. They're in a time period where they're really allowed to express themselves, at least not the Jedi. Or not, like, yes, granted, Obi-Wan his way across the galaxy, and also carnally breaks every rule of the Jedi. That's
well, yeah, because he didn't really get his training completed either, right? I mean,
right. Well, he was ready to. He got his training completed, but his training was done by fucking Qui-Gon, who was already breaking every.
Right. So
it's just
and then another rule. Oh god.
Yeah, exactly. It's just 3 rule breakers in a row.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the other thing is I'm assuming Anakin, right? You know, probably spent the last 10 years, like even the first scene that I played just a minute ago, we see Anakin and Obi-Wan are sitting there, and it's like, I haven't seen you this nervous since we fell in that nest of Gundarks. And he whole ass stops, looks at him, and goes, "You fell in that nest. I jumped in after you to save you." And he's like, "Oh yeah." So like we have to admit, like we have this understanding immediately. Their relationship is no longer this like master apprentice relationship.
Yeah, they're more like brothers. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, And so now imagine your older brother is a shithead who keeps sleeping his way across the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to bang people.
Yeah, that's
Or you're not allowed to care about the people you bang.
well, they don't do that
Like,
anyway, so.
like, well, that's my point. Is like, well, they do. They bang. Jedi are okay to have sex with whoever they want.
Oh.
That's not against the rules. Yeah, that's a common misconception. Is people are like, well, the Jedi don't fuck. Oh no, they fuck. They're not celibate. They fuck. That's not part. That's not against the rules. Like the Jedi are absolutely. Yeah, you can go bang your way across the galaxy. That's not against the rules. Just don't give a shit about the person you're banging. That's against the rules. So like you can't bang, like you can't like make love. You can't be like, oh yeah, I'm passionate about this person. No, that can't happen. But if you're like, hey, one night stand, yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Interesting.
isn't that fucked?
Yeah, that's kind of weird, actually.
And remember, the biggest reason for this is because they're afraid of emotional attachment. Because they're afraid if you start sleeping with people and then you get emotionally attached to them, that it will compromise you. You won't be able to make clear and rational decisions, which is bullshit. Especially like when you're fucking overpowered as shit,
Right.
and all of your abilities are controlled via your emotion.
Yeah.
Like, which is the other argument. The Jedi are like, well, we're not controlled by emotion. We just control our powers. And they're like, well, that's why the dark side is easy because you use your emotions,
Right. That was the
not
whole
your
point.
will. But it's like, yeah, but to an extent, actually, this is brought up in the Old Republic game, where one of the guys is talking about like by cutting yourself off from emotion in general, you actually fail at being like protectors of people because you suddenly can't empathize with anyone.
Oh.
If you're taught your whole life to never feel anything, then you can't feel what someone's going through.
That's true.
Yeah, you can't understand the situation from a non-biased position because you can't understand what both parties are feeling. You might as well be a droid.
Oh shit, fair point.
Yeah. And so, like, that's one of the biggest problems with just the Jedi in general. But all this is to say, I like the prequel. They're good. They're not amazing. They're not the perfect things, but I think they're really good. I think, because, like, as much as people love the originals, and I love the originals, there is hokey shit in the originals.
Yeah.
It has hokey shit. Like, one of the fucking funniest to me in the originals is when Han Solo lands the Millennium on the back of a Star Destroyer and turns it off.
Yep.
How the fuck?
Well,
no, I get it, like energy signatures and what. But you're telling me that the ship doesn't have a sensor for if it's carrying extra weight?
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
Like, you would think it would be like, hey, there's a lot of extra weight. Or, like, you don't think anyone was in the trash room when they fucking docked to the side of that ship?
Yeah.
And heard this giant... What the fuck was that?
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's pretty true. Yeah,
like
and they're just hanging out. Actually,
yeah, like, somebody on that ship should have heard that fucking thing land.
Yeah, or yeah, when they're trying to hide from the Empire, and in Episode 5, and Han Solo's Falcon attaches to the back of the Star Destroyer, and nobody.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that scene. Yeah, how the fuck does that happen? How do none of you notice? Like, somebody in that Star Destroyer should have heard. Somebody.
Right.
Or, at the very least, a TIE fighter. They should have, like, when the TIE fighters were flying around, somebody should have been like, I don't remember that Millennium Falcon-shaped ship sticking to the back of our destroyer. Like, and then they, like, their whole plan is we just float away with trash. Again, you don't think the Empire, like, looks through its trash and, like, when they release it, like, oh yeah, make sure it's, not within someone else's flight path.
Right.
Then when they notice, hey, some of that fucking trash is a little bit bigger than what we actually dropped out of our ship.
Yeah, and...
Like, what the fuck? Like, there's too many variables that don't make sense. But, again, that's part of the original trilogy. And this is one of my core points. I don't have a problem with Star Wars being silly.
Oh,
Star
yeah,
Wars is
yeah.
silly.
Duh.
That's okay. Star Wars can be silly because it doesn't stick to facts or reason all the time. Sometimes stupid shit happens because we have plot armor.
Right.
It's as simple as that. And it's fun. And that's kind of the... Star Wars should be fun. It should be having a good time, but also telling you a grand tale.
Exactly.
Now, over the years, there are there are certain things that are like very canon shit. Things that everyone accepts, like universally accepts, and things that everyone universally ignores, like the Life Day. We all agreed, fuck Life Day. Actually, we didn't. Life Day's still a thing. But we
Wait, it's still a
candidly
thing?
decided, yeah, Life Day is still a canon thing. Before Disney took over, Life Day's still a thing, but the holiday special is
Huh.
specifically just the holiday special. We all count that as fuck that. It didn't happen. We all had LSD at the same time and imagined it. I don't care if there's videos of it. We're ignoring it. But Life Day itself is still a traditional holiday in the Star Wars universe. It's a Wookiee holiday that exists, and Wookiees and people who are friends of Wookiees typically celebrate it. And it stayed in the Star Wars universe. That stayed. Because, again, Star Wars is fine to be silly. It's just certain things, when it goes too silly, or too weird, or doesn't fit the setting, we just kind of sweep it aside and go, okay, that was fun, that was a nice try, but it doesn't work.
I see.
Which I think, like, that's fine. Anything should be able to mess up once or twice and just kind of put it to the side and go, nah, that didn't work. You know?
Yeah, let's move on and never touch it ever
Yeah.
again.
Exactly, and that's fine. Like, it'd be like if Toyota made one of their cars failed, and then for the rest of eternity, like, nope, we have to, every car has to remember the fact that that failure happened, and we have to put that failure in every new. No, you fix the failure and you give me a better car. You don't
Right.
know. Don't do that. And that's kind of my thing. Is like, okay, so we go through prequels are silly, but they also introduce a lot of new lore, and they don't do anything insulting to the pre, which I think is important.
Right.
The original trilogy, with or without the prequels, still makes sense. If you have someone who's never watched Star Wars and you have them sit down and watch the original or the prequels, then the original trilogy, they're not going to be confused.
Right.
Everything explains itself.
Well, the question is, did you also show them Rogue One in between Episode 3 and Episode 4?
We'll get to that. We'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But like the prequels, the George Lucas era, right?
Oh, and you'd have to show them Han Solo also.
No.
Kind of simultaneously.
No.
With
we will get to the Disney catastrophe. So here's my thing: is the George Lucas era, right? You could watch those, and nothing in the prequels fucking does anything to the originals. It doesn't. It doesn't insult it. It adds funny stuff, and in fact, it does make Han Solo kind of an asshole for being like, "Oh yeah, sure, magic," when he's like in his 20s or like 30s, so he should have known about the Jedi. Like he was 10 when the Empire took over.
Right.
But at the same time, Han Solo also seems like the kind of guy who's probably a street rat and wasn't paying attention to the Jedi, or kind of just blurted it all out as a fever.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's kind of the thing. And, like, people harp on the Metachlorians, but, like, the Metachlorians were actually talked about in the original trilogy. And yes, I do mean the original VHS before any special editions or whatever. Yeah, if you go back, Obi-Wan has a conversation about it. He says it in passing, but it's there. But it wasn't made a big deal about, and then when it came back up in one, people lost their shit and was like, what is this retconning bullshit?
Well, yeah, because, I mean...
It's not. It's just, he just brought it up again. It's just playing a bigger role now. And to George's credit, everyone flipped out about it in 1, and then he went, alright, and then they never talked about it again in 2 or 3.
They mentioned it again, though.
No, not really.
Yeah, in Episode 3 they talk about it, I think.
Where?
When we talk about Luke and Leia, I thought...
Nope, they don't bring up the Metachlorians.
No?
Nope.
Oh.
No. Because when their Luke and Leia's scenes are fucking bullshit. Because they literally get bored we see Padme name both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next time we hear anything about them is Obi-Wan being like, "I'll take the boy," and Bale's like, "I'll take the girl,"
Oh.
and they're just like, "Okay," and that's it.
Oh, I thought Yoda mentioned something about them being remarkable or something.
No,
No.
he makes a comment about he's gonna teach Obi-Wan how to talk to Qui-Gon,
Oh, right. Okay.
but that has nothing to do with midichlorians.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a just force ability that he's gonna teach him,
Okay.
which later Obi-Wan will use to talk to Luke.
Sure.
And that's kind of the thing, is the prequels and the original fit together fine. And all it does, right, if you watch the prequels and you watch the originals, it kind of just makes you want to go watch or like learn or read books or, you know, play games. You want to know more about this universe. You're interested.
Right.
Now we'll get to the Disney atrocities.
Cool. Which one do you want to start on then?
We're going to start with the whole of the new shit. Whole of the new sequels. And this is where I'm going to put my biggest complaint foot forward.
Okay.
Disney's movies make me want to burn Star Wars.
Really?
They legitimately have sucked out any enjoyment I have of Star Wars when dealing with other people. So, I had this conversation a little and we were talking about, you know, like people will typically say, "What's your problem? You know, why can't you just let them be? They're not hurting you. They don't, you know, take away from your enjoyment of the originals." This is a false statement,
Well,
and I'll tell you why. If it was, you know, like, for instance, when you find something that you like, what do you want to do when you find something?
But you honestly want to keep doing the same. I mean, you want to enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah,
like something,
and
I'm
then
gonna
like
keep enjoying it.
if,
Yeah.
if it's not very well known, what do you want to do? You want to tell people about it.
Yeah.
I can no longer recommend people watch Star Wars.
What? I still do. I mean,
No, I legitimately find myself not able to, like, if I had met someone that was like, I've never seen Star Wars, I can't recommend go watch Star Wars unless I add a caveat to it. And
well,
that's
yeah.
not something I ever had to do before.
Really, I always added the caveat of just watch the originals and don't bother with the
No.
prequels. But
Never. Because, again, I feel the prequels hold.
oh, okay.
I feel only snobby assholes think the prequels suck.
Well, I mean,
It was
now that we have the
elitist.
Disney bullshit, obviously the prequels are better now. But
No, I liked the prequels when the prequels came out, and I saw the originals first. Which, yeah, fuck anyone, by the way, who's like, you only like the prequels because you're a millennial. And that's what you were raised on. No, fuck you. I watched the originals first, and I loved them, and I wanted more. And when the prequels came out, I loved them. There was stuff about it that sure wasn't like the best thing ever, but it was a good Star Wars. It felt like Star Wars. There was nothing insulting to the previous. It just felt like we got more Star Wars. I can't do that with the fucking new Star Wars. It legitimately feels like someone went, hey, you know that thing you liked? Star Wars? Here's something that looks nothing like it, acts nothing like it, sounds nothing like it, but has its name. Now love it, fucker.
yeah.
And that is legitimately how I feel. I feel like Disney took the name of Star Wars, slapped it on as a brand, and sold it fucking covered in shit to people when it has nothing to do with it. And this is one of my biggest gripes about it. This is what I mean. If I sit down, right, say I'm sitting in public, right, and I'm talking to my wife in a private conversation
Yes.
about Star Wars,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about, for instance, let's say I'm talking about Luke and him having the Jedi Order, and that time that he went and fought Exar Kun's ghost,
Okay.
and how that was an amazing fight, and really cool because Exar Kun was so old, and I'm telling this story, and some kid, or some teenager, or even some full-grown adult that has only watched the movies, including the new Disney movies,
Ugh.
or even say they've read books, but they've only read what Disney counts as canon because they didn't start until Disney. took over.
Ugh.
Those people come up to me and go, well, none of that's canon, right? I mean, those are all just stories in the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, how the fuck... What am I supposed to say to that? Other than, yeah, sure, under Disney's fucking ass.
Right.
Like, now suddenly I'm in an argument with a random asshole in the middle of a mall. And mind you, but I bring this up not as a, like, really kind of obscure... This is a real thing that's happened to me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, this is a real thing where I'll be out in public talking about Star Wars and have some asshole that's Disney's cocksuckers and tell me how I'm wrong about Star Wars because that's not canon anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, shithead. I was watching Star Wars. Wipe your ass.
Mm-hmm.
I will decide what's canon for me, and I know what was canon before your fucking megacorp bought my fucking IP. You know, like, if... I use this example when I was talking to Amanda. If someone bought Lord of the Rings, right? They bought the rights to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then remade or added a sequel to the Return of the King, where all of the men, the elves, and the dwarves are fighting against Sauron, who's just back now.
Mm-hmm.
How? No idea, but he's back, and he's stronger than ever. And now all of the good guys have to join together and defeat him. And Aragorn's back, and Gimli's back, and Legolas is back, and now Legolas is a woman. And now Gimli is 8 feet tall, and Aragorn is gay.
Oh. That's
And
ruins the whole fucking thing then.
yeah. And everything in the Silmarillion is non-canon. It didn't happen.
Well,
all
no, I read
those
that
books,
book anyway.
all the books, the actual books, non-canon. If it didn't happen on film, didn't happen. Everything that happened in film, that's exactly how it happened.
Oy.
All the Hobbits movies with the horrible CGI and the fucked up Battle of the Five Armies, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And then
that's
said,
not good.
we're faithful to Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating a true Lord of the Rings experience.
Oh, fuck hell.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Star Wars.
Well, I mean, people freaked out when George Lucas redid his own Star Wars work, though. I mean,
yeah, but that's the thing. At least that's the same fucking guy who made it.
that's true.
Like, at the end of the day, right, if I write a story,
Mm-hmm.
I write a story. If I write a story about a paladin who, like a D&D story, of a paladin who goes out and saves cities out of the goodness of his heart, and at the end he finds out that he is Asmodeus, and it racks him with guilt, but he decides to overcome it and proceeds to continue to be a good man despite his lineage.
Mm-hmm.
And that sold millions of books and became a huge thing.
Sure.
That's still my character. That's still my story.
Yeah.
I'm the one who came up with it. So if the next time I write the book, if I go, well, now it's his adventures, you know, he's had a harder life.
Mm-hmm.
People found out about his dad being Asmodeus. They haven't been kind to him. And people have labeled him a traitor and a monster. His dad being this fucking demon, despite all the good done, and now he's fallen away from the cleric path, and he's become just another warrior in the special. He's just trying to get by, and at the end of that movie, you know, it just ends a really dark note where he forsakes all of his cleric ability, you know, leaving all of his shit behind, and goes off to become a thief and steal and rob people because fuck people. People don't deserve it.
Sure.
Now, that would probably upset some people.
Well, yeah.
Right? The characters had a hard swap. It doesn't feel, you know, like, people are like, well, that kind of goes against what he was. This whole thing was, you know, he was this guy. And but at the end of the day, if I did that, it would still be my character. Right?
Right.
I wrote it. I wrote the original. I wrote this one. My character. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Don't watch it or don't read it. Don't buy the book. You know, stick to the original. Fine.
Sure.
Now, in that same regard, imagine if I just wrote the first book and someone else bought the book.
Oh,
Someone else
yeah.
bought the rights from me. And they then went to all of the people who had bought it and went, hey, you know that Paladin guy? Yeah. He's just a bad guy now. He's a thief. And they cut out all that shit that I did do, that I would have written
Right.
second, and just was, he's just a thief now. How? Why? Don't worry about it. He's just a dick now.
Wow.
He
Yeah,
just doesn't like people. I guess it's hereditary.
fucking
No,
hell.
got it from his dad. You would be pissed. You know, the
Yeah,
people
I'd
would
be
be
pissed too. Yeah, that's stupid.
because they'd be like, okay, now there's a betrayal of the character. You completely missed what the point was about, and it's not an artist changing their vision.
Mhm.
It's a company changing a product.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most disgusting things. Is as much as George changed it, he also allowed the community to change it.
Hmm.
He let so many books get written by authors, both like well-known and not well-known,
Sure.
that he was like, here, this is our universe. And yeah, he would change some things, but he also encouraged people to have their own headcanon. That, you know, if you don't like something in the stories, feel free to ignore it. Write your own version of it. You know, make it feel like your Star Wars, or have it happen in a farther part away from your version of Star Wars.
Mhm.
You know, not everything had to happen in the same side of the galaxy. The galaxy's a big place.
Right.
Disney went, yeah, you know, that was great. You giving that IP away to everyone, letting a community grow for 20 years. Yeah, that was great. We're not going to do that. In fact, anyone who dares to use Star Wars for pretty much anything, we're going to fucking be assholes.
Ugh, yeah.
Anyone who uses our music, even if it was music you used in our movie, technically we shouldn't have the rights to it, but we do because we now own everything. Yeah, we're going to copyright strike the fuck out of them. People who do theories on us, fuck them. People who say anything negative, praising everything about Star Wars, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
And also, we're going to bastardize the entire story because we don't care. And we think it'll appeal to a wider audience if we make all the characters really generic, really bland,
Yeah.
and no real depth to them whatsoever.
Even though the people
we're
who watch Star Wars is Star Wars fans, pretty much.
yeah,
Like the general, like your average, you know,
yeah,
like I don't know, they're not gonna give a shit. Like it's fucking.
yeah, exactly.
It's the 7th movie in the series. Like who the fuck cares? No one
You
goes
know,
to see the 7th movie in a series and is like,
and you know
"Ooh,
what's
this is new."
worse?
Yeah.
You know what's worse is that there are actual Star Wars fans who went and watched all of these new ones in theaters, paid for, and was like, "God, man, this is great."
Oh. Well, to be honest with you, I
And
saw all of them in the theater, but
and that's the worst part, is watching people who grew up with the series, like my brother, right? He is one of those people who's like, just be glad it's more Star Wars. I'm like, but it's not. It's Disney Star Wars.
right.
And that is a big caveat. The second a corporation takes a product, it is no longer a story or a world or an environment. It's a product. That's what it becomes. It's a cookie cutter fucking pile of shit that they can pump out every few years. And that was their plan for the Star Wars movies. They were going to have another movie every single 2 years.
That'd be pretty awesome, though, just to have more movies. I mean,
No,
better than no movies at all.
No,
They had their own canon,
no,
like separate.
Here's my thing. I am fully in the category of I would rather have none than a bunch of shit. You know why? No one likes a TV show that goes on for too long.
Well, what about the Clone Wars series?
What about it?
Well, did you like it?
Yes.
I mean, what if it was made by that guy?
I'm not watching Star Wars, one that's now run by Disney. Yeah, the Return of the Clone Wars, the series that just got rebooted and put up, I'm not going to watch it.
Oh.
Because even if it's ran by the same guy, its overhead isn't the same. And those people overhead are who make the final decision.
Yeah.
And it comes out. Rogue One, and the perfect example is Rogue.
Really?
Rogue One was great.
I was gonna say I thought that was the best one that they made.
Yeah, Rogue One was great. It was a really good and faithful Star Wars.
Exactly.
That was, thank you, baby. That was the second Star Wars movie that Disney made. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made
yes,
Force
yeah.
Awakens,
Force Awakens,
and then they
Rogue
made Rogue One.
Last Jedi, Solo, then Rise of Skywalker.
Yep. And
Yep.
did you know something about that?
What?
What happened after Rogue One?
After Rogue One, they.
All the movies changed.
Oh yeah, well.
All the movies got far away from Wars. All of them took drastic jumps.
Well, that's because of Rian Johnson and his bullshit.
Exactly.
That's because Kathleen Kennedy put
about
Rian
this.
Johnson in charge for some
But
dumbass
think
reason.
because she's an idiot.
Well, yeah, but
But think about this. Think about this. We had The Force Awakens, which again was good.
That's actually not a horrible movie.
I wasn't insulted by it.
Right.
I was a little upset because there was a lot of, like, mainly for the decanoning of a lot of shit that had happened during that time.
Right.
But honestly, I was mad about it originally just because of all the canning. When I sat down and I watched it, I was like, this is good.
I was most
not
upset by
bad.
the fact that Luke no longer has kids. That was pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
That was my biggest.
Well, yeah, Mary Jade just being gone.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking horrible. I was thinking, well, shit. And
like that
Leia
shit
not
sucked.
having force powers by this time, that was pretty stupid.
Yeah. But even then, when I was watching Force Awakens, I was like, okay, maybe they can do something. You know, we can call it 2 different canon universes or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll go a Marvel route.
Sure.
And that would have been fine.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. Or, they could have just made Star Wars movies not about the main cast.
Yeah, they could have made it later
like
in time. They could have done it later in time.
Right.
They
well,
literally
they
could
did,
have done it another
do it
2. No. They did it immediately into fucking extended universe territory. They could have hit it another. They could have done what fucking instead of doing sequels to prequels to sequel era, they could have done the Old Republic. Put another 1,000 years in between.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
And then you have a completely fresh slate to do whatever you want.
Right.
Disney could have done whatever they want, and I would be bitching.
Really? Like if they ignored all the canon from, like
Yeah, that would probably be my biggest complaint. And that's the biggest thing. They wouldn't have had to decanon it.
Why?
Because if they put it 1,000 years in the future, in the extended universe that far.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Anything could happen in 1,000 years. There's another giant galactic dark age like there was between the Knights of the franchise and the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that history could be lost. And that's fine. So you could have a universe, not an Empire, not Rebels, or not Jedi, Sith,
right?
Whatever.
Something totally different.
Yeah. And still use the Star Wars name because in the Star Wars universe, it's just way later. So you can use the set pieces, you can use the races, you can use, a new version of the Galactic. Imagine the Empire as the Galactic Empire 1,000 years in the future. It's good guys.
Oh yeah, they could have done the Yusong Vong trilogy. That would have been fun as hell.
No. This is what I mean. Past that. Far past that.
Really?
Past anything written. Write your own shit. The entire First Order shit that they did, they could have done 1,000 years in the future.
Sure.
Because it didn't have to be the Empire, the Palpatine Empire. It could have just been another Sith Empire.
That's fair,
It could be a specific First Order. It could be its own thing with the Knights of Ren instead of Sith Lord fighting Jedi. Because the Jedi's history lost over the years. And it's just been regular people fighting against them. And Rey still could have been a long descendant scene, which we'll get to that shit. And have her fucking find an old holocron.
Right.
And guess what? She could have found a holocron of Luke.
Yeah.
That just gives her some, some basic training.
Yeah.
And then become a Jedi or whatever they want to call it and do that. Hell, she could have still found the Millennium Falcon in like a old abandoned planet. Or like on Hoth. just buried in the ice.
That would have been pretty cool, yeah.
They could have done all the same shit they did, and in fact more, by not restricting themselves.
Yeah.
By just jumping forward enough to go, this is it. Times have changed, man. Everything you knew, it's all in the past. It's
Right.
a new setting. It's a new Star Wars.
Exactly.
And guess what? I would have bought those movie tickets. I would have gone and seen it, because it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't be ruining what I grew up with.
Right.
It wouldn't be insulting it. It wouldn't be decanoning everything. It would just be new additions to Star Wars.
Right.
It would be what everyone tells me. Wouldn't you rather have some Star Wars than... If that was the case, yes. But that's not the case. Instead, we have people literally... It'd be like if you wrote your homework,
Mm-hmm.
you know, wrote your whole homework on the history, the Civil War,
Sure.
and someone walked in and went, no, you idiot. This is how the Civil War went. The South won.
Ha!
And you went, no, they fucking didn't. And they're like, yes, they did. And then you were like, are you fucking stupid? And then you look at your friend and go, hey, this asshole thinks the South won the Civil War. And he goes, yeah, they did.
Ha!
And suddenly, everyone in the world is looking at you like you're the asshole because you won't accept the fact that, yeah, we rewrote history. The South won the Civil War. What? It doesn't do anything. It's not like it changes any of our laws now. It's just the South won the Civil War.
What the fuck?
Except that changes a huge chunk of history.
Yeah, that kind of confuses everything
Change
too. Because then it's like, if the South won, why the
Yeah.
fuck are we still here?
Yeah, it's like shit doesn't make sense when you change parts of history.
Yeah.
That's what's happening to Star Wars, is Disney's just going in, wafting their cock over shit and being like, nope, this didn't happen, that did happen, this didn't happen, that happened, this didn't happen then, it happened over here. The fucking Roman Empire didn't happen until the year 1582, and then the German Reich happened back in the year 200. Fuck you! And every asshole that's sucking Disney's cock's going, yep, that's history, that's how it works. Nothing ever changed. It's us. Why, you had a different history book? Well, your history book's wrong, motherfucker. It was written in... This is history!
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not how it fucking works, jackass. History is history. You can fucking write your own in the future. Make your own history.
Right.
Don't fucking try and change what's already there. You're not being faithful to the product you bought. You're ruining the product you bought. Look, the Sonic example. The original Sonic trailer that they put out, Sonic not only looked, but he didn't act like fucking Sonic. He wasn't cheesy, he wasn't silly, he wasn't funny. He was just a shitty CGI asshole who vaguely knows what Sonic is, like has heard of Sonic. Is like, yeah, that's Sonic, right? That's what he looks like. And then everyone on the internet was like, fuck no! And he was like, oh shit, okay, maybe I should go watch a Sonic cartoon. And fucking sat down, played a few games, watched a few shows, and was like, oh, okay, now I got it. And then suddenly Sonic's on the trailer. Haha, chili dogs, fucker! And we're like, yeah, fuck yes, that's Sonic.
Right.
That's what we want. And that's all it should have taken for Star Wars, for Disney. That's it. All it should have taken was the second they started putting out shit that wasn't up to the specs of Force Awakens and Rogue One. The second that Solo movie came out, and it was shit. The EA started blind with charges out the ass. The second fucking all of the Jedi happened, fuck they call pile of shit. The second if the Star Wars community stood up in one voice and go, fuck you, Disney, suck your own cock, shove it down your own throat, and back the fuck off. That's not how it works. And if Disney would have decanted shit and people would have gone, no, we don't give a fuck about you. This is the only canon. Disney would have folded because they aren't in charge. They need your money. You're the fan base.
Right.
If the fan base revolts, they don't have a base income.
Exactly.
And that's something that's a base fucking feature. If people would have sacked up like they did for Star Wars, I wouldn't be here bitching and moaning.
Exactly.
Just be Star Wars. Instead, I am here bitching and moaning for 15 minutes about how everyone seems to be snorting cocaine, thinking that Disney's just perfect because the mouse apparently has a fucking camera in everyone's house.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that more than anything. People who are just like, I mean, it's Disney, though. Don't you love Disney? No, I don't love Disney.
Right.
No. All of Disney's biggest success in entire history is ripping people.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. All of their, like, princess movies are ripoffs of other stories. Even fucking, like, fucking Lion King is a rip. All of their biggest successes are ripping people and burying the little guy. Why would I like Disney?
Sure.
Like, sure, they have some good movies, but that doesn't mean it's okay. Like, if you fucking have slave labor build a cotton t-shirt, it doesn't make the slave labor okay because the shirt's really nice.
Right.
Like, that's not how it
good
works.
product doesn't justify the means.
Exactly. And so,
Right.
like, see people nowadays being like, well, I liked the new Star Wars. I don't think it was that bad. Okay, but you're okay with the fucking destruction of everything that people built over the last 20 years? You're okay with the fan base that outright insults, tells an idiot for not jumping on the bandwagon? Like, you're okay with the mountain of people who've been copying
Right.
struck from their channels because they have Star Wars music in the back? Can't afford to let their played without getting a penny? You're okay with the ridiculous amount of money stolen microtransactions on every fucking Star Wars that gets EA untrustworthy? Like, no. Just because Disney is a company that you happen to like their film, grew up looking at them and thinking everything was okay, just because they're saying you lullaby doesn't mean they're the good guy.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's my biggest thing. Is like, here we are. Fucking, I mean, we're in it, man. Star Wars has been owned by Disney for a while.
Yeah, ever since
It's not new.
2010 or something, whenever they bought it.
Yeah. It's not like this is new.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, it's been almost a decade of ranting.
Mm-hmm.
And that should say something. Like, fucking Native Americans, man, they're still out there.
Oh.
They're still pissed off about their territory that got conquered, and they were given these tiny portions, and now they're, the U.S. government pretends that it's like, oh yeah, they're being treated equally. Most people turn a blind eye to it, but they're like, no, they're still getting fucked ways.
Yeah.
But people, the mass majority of people, like their current lifestyle, and so they're okay with turning a blind eye to the that make it happen.
Right.
And it's the same thing with Star Wars. They're okay with the people getting robbed games. They're okay with people getting robbed from the game on their phone. They're okay with people getting robbed out of the 20 years of history, effort, and whatever to put into this franchise. They're okay with the people who spent 10, 11 years on YouTube making Star Wars videos, getting their videos claimed. Captain Shack of the XPGN Gamers, or the XPG Gamers. This man is a retired U.S. veteran who plays Star Wars games. He has had entire fucking playlist Thanos snapped by Disney. Just removed from YouTube because they play the fucking Empire War music.
That's pretty screwed.
How is that fair? He owns the game. He bought the game.
Well,
therefore he bought the soundtrack that goes along with the game.
Technically, nowadays in the game contracts, it says you're allowed to.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
That wasn't in Empire War. It still isn't. If you buy a fresh copy, which I just did from Steam, yes.
Why'd you get a fresh copy?
I bought it from my brother.
Oh, cool.
To install it, there is nothing. No terms and agreements that say you do not own the rights. You cannot play this anywhere. That's a current purchase. So why do they fucking think it's okay to claim people?
Right.
That would literally be like if you bought your groceries from your store and then walked out, got in your car, and went to eat it, and someone came in, arrested, put you in jail. Like, what the fuck did I do? And you stole bread. And you're like, what are you talking about? I bought it. And they're like, yeah, but didn't you know? Despite us not having paper telling, you can't eat it. If you eat it, it's technically stealing. You just bought the bag. The bread inside is ours. Seriously.
That'd be great. That'd be hilarious.
But that's what's happening with people playing Empire at War. An almost 20 game, which is being treated as if just because you bought it, you don't get to use it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how this works. If I buy a scooter and let someone else ride my scooter, they didn't steal the scooter. Nor am I, fucking committing a crime by allowing someone to use my scooter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sharing it. Just because there happens to be the medium of the internet, and it's not like people are giving away the fucking game, for like, it's not like people are like selling the game, like, hey, pay me to play this.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they did, that's a thing. That's Patreon. They're not really. It's not just the game. They're paying that person, in their time playing the game, their expressions, their commentaries. Like you don't a paint company could never go to an artist like this $1 billion painting painted is ours because you used our brand of paint and displayed it in an art gallery.
Yeah, that'd be pretty screwed up.
Like the company is just providing the tools.
Exactly.
They're not providing everything.
Yeah.
But that's how it's being treated. It's like people are acting. No, it's their product. No, it's not. It's my product once I paid for it.
Right. Well, consumer protection laws are better in Canada and Australia and Europe and England.
Right. But that's what I mean. It's like, beyond that being an initial issue, with that being an issue, a company like Disney, who's based in the United States, would go, maybe we shouldn't do.
Yeah, you'd think they
maybe,
would. But...
maybe these people who have been making this giant, purchase that we just made, a thing, people are bringing new people in. It's trickle down marketing. It's literally a thing that you are taught in school. Is that if you, for instance, Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo has some of the best trickle down marketing anywhere. Because if you see a red hat with a white circle and a red M in the what is that hat?
Well, fucking Mario, obviously.
Exactly. You can see that anywhere in the world and you know what it is. And if someone looked at that and went, I wonder what that hat's from, you would go, it's fucking Mario.
Right, like how do you not know that?
And if they were like, I don't know what Mario is, you'd be like, you don't know what the fuck Mario is? Oh, I gotta show you Mario. You would show them.
Right.
That's trickle down marketing. Making something so recognizable because it's everywhere. And you know why that hat's so recognizable? Because you don't just see it in Nintendo games. You see it everywhere. People draw pictures of Mario. People cosplay as Mario.
Mm-hmm.
People fucking play video games that have Mario in it and talk about Mario is everywhere because everyone loves it to talk.
Right.
Star Wars was everywhere because you wanted to talk about it. There are legitimate people who made their channel Star Wars who about talking about Star Wars. They literally can kill their own marketing. This free version of marketing. People, word of mouth is spreading, your product, making it popular. But you're killing it by telling people you can't use the thing that we let you buy from to tell people this thing that we're trying to sell to them.
Right.
Like, could you imagine buying a pack of Sour Patch and then Sour Patch, like, you make a review on it and you're like, Sour Patch is fucking good. Or, nah, I don't really like this color, but I like Sour Patch. Sour Patch fucking striking your...
Right.
Ah, bitch. You can't eat Sour Patch video. You can talk about it, but you can't fucking show them. If somebody wants Sour Patch, they gotta buy the fucking package and open it up themselves.
Yeah.
Never do a fucking video on Sour Patch again, would you?
Exactly.
It'd be like, no, alright, fuck Sour Patch.
Yeah,
Then I guess I'm gonna talk about Hershey's.
On what is it, Pokemon? Or what's the game that people...
I mean, there are, because Nintendo started to
Right,
get
Nintendo
message.
had something wrong with their.
Yeah, so Nintendo made the same mistake Disney. Nintendo, when one of their people, like it was a new fucking director of,
Right.
that like essentially the guy had never really heard YouTube,
Mhm.
and so all he heard was people playing our games free,
Oh, I see.
not, and so yeah, so it was a miss in translation. Understand or
Oh.
why people were playing stuff, so he just started like panic fucking like if you're playing a fucking Nintendo game, you're in fucking trouble. Because he just thought people were like essentially he thought it was like, oh well, if they watch the game, they're not gonna play the game. Oh no, what do we do?
Right.
And that's not how it worked. And so he eventually Nintendo dropped on their shit. They stopped being as, which is why actually me and Savvy watch Pokemon on YouTube.
Mhm.
They're everywhere. Like Pokemon, Nintendo, back with passion. Because Nintendo got their shit together. It was like, oh wait, this is actually a bad idea for us. This is her community. Hey, we shouldn't do this. And so, like, I think that's the biggest things.
Mhm.
That idea that, like, just because you think doesn't a good idea to, you know, penny pinch everything, because you might actually lose money in the long by doing it.
Mhm.
And that's what Disney's done ever since fucking Star Wars specifically, and also Marvel, because you have tiptoe.
Mhm.
It's become unbearable.
Yeah.
You know, they're like you can't fucking do anything. You can't have their audio. You can't even have 15 scenes
Right.
without Disney coming out of nowhere and being like, yeah, sorry, but I'm gonna take all your
Right.
like we're doing right now, right?
Mhm. We're just talking about it.
You
Yeah.
got what audio, visual, just playing the trailer.
I'm playing. No, I'm playing a racing game while we talk.
Oh right. I've got now the music's off.
Mhm.
It's just the visual.
Actually,
of the
hold on.
game.
Your mic's cutting out a bit. Do you want to reset it or something?
Oh yeah. Is that better?
I think so.
Better?
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
Okay. But yeah, like I'm playing Empire War right now,
Yep.
and it's got the sound effects, got the music on, the sound effects are on.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the thing is like if I upload this to YouTube, I was scared
Mhm.
strike, which is stupid
Right.
because the game isn't even what I'm really presenting to people. It's
Exactly.
just something visually for them to look at. And even if I, like for instance, do Empire playthroughs,
Right.
most of the time they're playing mods of the game. And even if they're not playing a mod, if you're playing of a playthrough Empire
Mhm.
and you're playing and you're doing different strategies and you're talking about why you're doing different things,
Mhm.
you are giving an analysis on your play. You know, you're being a commentator for play. You're not presenting the game, you're presenting yourself and how you play the game. And even if you aren't talking on this, right? Because there are people who do silent let's play.
Yeah.
So there's no talking, it's just the gameplay. Even those people showing you how they play the game.
Mhm.
It's less about, oh, here's the game, and it's more about, here's how I play the game. Even, I would even go as far as people who do videos that are like, hey, God of War the movie, where it's like all the cutscenes from those.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've seen those. Yeah.
Those ones typically aren't monetized anyways. So it's always stupid when those get copyright strike.
Right. Well, you
Um,
can't really. I mean, you can get copyright stricken, but it doesn't do anything.
I know, but it's also just kind of like being a dick move by the company.
Mhm.
Like, if someone's doing those types of things, the people who are gonna watch that, you're not losing anything. It's gonna watch, like for instance, me and Savvy actually sat to the God of
Mhm.
fucking the movie God of War.
Sure.
And so it's just all three games that previously happened,
Mhm.
the cutscene. And so it was so that we could brush up on our God of War knowledge before buying the new one that was on PS4.
Okay, cool.
And if that video hadn't been there, because I was kind of like iffy on whether or not I was going to buy the new one, kind of good, and wasn't sure. But if that hadn't been there, I wouldn't have probably bought it. Because I wouldn't have known anything, and it's so hard to get those games, or just to spend that much time to go back and play all of those games.
Right.
You know, like, you're not losing any money by me watching that video. In fact, you're probably going to gain money because you're going to gain a new fan of the God of War series. Or, if I don't like it, then you're not fucking risking me doing a return.
Yeah.
Which would hurt your overall sales of that game.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which is, like, those kinds of things when people are so disconnected. Which is, again, back to my original point, of a corporation making something not an art or a presentation, but a product, can be so dangerous. Because the second something is thought of as a product, heart in it is lost,
right,
and it will be abused to hell and back.
Sure.
They make selfish decisions that can even hurt their own bottom line because they think in the short term, I want to make money, or they're not thinking long-term implications of it or the potential of it, you know?
Well,
like,
it's also because of the company's investors, too, because, like, the investors want to make money each year, and they don't care about the long term because that's not how they make money, so...
But that's stupid, because
stupid.
You should make money long term as an investor, because if you invest in a company, right, you make money, the more money that company makes.
Right.
So if that company in the long term is going to make more money, hence you will make more money, run. Why would you not want something that's going to make this company?
Well,
unless you're trying to sell your share then or soon.
Right.
And if you're trying to sell your share then or soon, as the company that investor has, if they're going to sell their share, don't worry about appealing to them.
Right.
Because they don't care. They're leaving.
Exactly. No, I agree. Yeah.
And so, like, that's another thing, is I feel like business has gotten so convoluted that people forget how much power they have. Like, I was just talking with Savannah about, like, how YouTube kind of cowers like a bitch under these big fucking, like, companies when it doesn't realize that it's the biggest dog in the yard.
Right.
Like, you know, YouTube, because we're watching the Matt Pat latest video where he was talking. He's making an infinity of company things you can trust to make your experience on YouTube safer and more productive, and so that you don't get tricked by companies.
Sure.
So he's finding, like, clothing companies you can trust to actually get good deal and make sure that you're making profit on your stuff. Sure. You know, good, and like an example, who did Chia's makeup tutorial, and she signed a deal with makeup to make her own palette. So it's a palette of colors. They gave her a flat $50,000 and told her, yeah, this is a great deal. Here, you get an upfront $50,000. How much so? That's how much you get. So, you know, there's no downside, right? The palette went on to sell for $10 million.
Jesus.
And she only ever saw that $50,000. Because that's horrible. A bad fucking deal. Yeah. But as a YouTuber, and which are mainly normal people and not businessmen, they don't know that's a bad deal. So people have been taking advantage by these companies. And that's one of those things, is like, back to my original, like, YouTube being last point. YouTube being the big dog they are. YouTube could have told every company, right, you want to know how to fix demonetization on, which, by the way, yeah, I know. This guy on Twitch is about to tell you fix one of the biggest issues on YouTube
Right.
in about 5 minutes. Actually, probably less than that. You ready?
Yeah.
Let the content creator decide what ad plays video.
That would be really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if instead, say Coke wanted to put an ad before your video, Elwirfy,
Mm-hmm.
your Let's Play, the entire Let's Play of fucking Siege, all of
Right.
your videos. Coca-Cola want to put a Coca-Cola ad in front of every one of your videos, and instead of just being like, I'm just putting video ads on YouTube, play whenever, they were like, here's a guy who has views consistently or whatever. These videos are doing people, maybe they're not people who play Siege aren't drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, we want Siege players drinking Coca-Cola. So we're put a Coke ad. So they send you as content.
Yeah.
They send an official message through YouTube saying, we want to put our ad. And you go, okay. And suddenly you're getting ad revenue.
Right.
This would fix two major issues. Because ads, or companies, right, always claim that their biggest issue with videos being monetized is that they didn't know what type of video made. Or they would have never supported that type of video. So they shouldn't be held responsible. But if they had to come to you and give you an ad,
Right.
they couldn't make that excuse, could they?
That's right.
Like
Yeah.
maybe once or twice if you made a video that was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you suddenly made a I love, then yeah, sure. You can probably make that claim. But if you make another Siege video, you're swearing just 3 times more than usual,
Right.
3 more times than you do a Siege video, then I swear a lot of Siege videos, but just in general, the company couldn't be like, he swore a bit more than usual. We didn't know he was like that. No, we don't want to be, And that's the other thing. If a company ever felt like they didn't want to add and advertise to you because they didn't trust your videos, or they didn't trust what you were making
Mm-hmm.
to be content friendly, they could just decide not to put fucking ads, like send you the message to put ads on.
Right.
They could just pull their fucking ad,
Yeah.
and then you'd be done, and you wouldn't have that issue.
Mm-hmm.
There would be no fucking, will this video be monetized or not? Because it would just, yep, it's monetized, period.
Right.
There's no review. Like, the review will go through, companies will look at it. Maybe it's up for a day or two without ad revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you have companies that are like, yeah, I want to just flat out put my ads on your video. I trust by looking over, the list of videos you've put out, that you're going to continue to put out and trust me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to just put blatant, ads in front of us day one. And that would also make a competitive market for those companies. Instead of companies being very lax and acting like they have the upper hand and being like, well, we control, whether or not you make money, it would be the creator controls it to play an ad.
Right.
They control whether or not a fucking person sees you. And this would be in YouTube's core.
Right.
Because suddenly, YouTube is the guy you gotta talk to.
Exactly.
Instead of YouTube acting like cowards and being scared of these big corporations and companies. Oh no, how am I possibly ever deal with mountain companies that are going to bully and tell me when, Disney comes and goes, hey, that guy right there, he's making Star Wars, and he's using our music. No. YouTube could be like, okay, what about it? He can't do that. It's copyright claim. Okay, make a DMCA claim.
Right.
That's not a YouTube thing. That's an internet thing.
Sure.
Make a DMCA claim. Make a claim that he's using your shit. And then they'll investigate it. And if you're found to be lying, he can countersue you.
Sure.
In fact, imagine if YouTube backed their creators.
Well,
Like, looked into it themselves and was like, You know
Well,
what?
isn't it a
He bought you
staffing issue? Isn't it a
fairly.
staff issue though? Like there's not enough
No,
people
no,
to check
maybe
every single
originally,
video.
not now.
Why? How much staff do they employ?
YouTube's one of the biggest companies in the world, and they're owned by Google.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they have
They
to have
could
lots of
pay.
employees.
Think about this. Think about this. You're telling me that they couldn't hire people to sit in a room
Hmm.
all day for 8 hours. Your job is to sit down and watch YouTube.
That would be a pretty fucking good job, actually.
Yeah, people would do that job for minimum wage and be happy about it. You wouldn't need great benefits or anything. That could be a fucking job that people do just to do it.
Right.
You know, people would be like, yeah, that's a great job. My job is to sit down. They give me a list of, and, sometimes you like the videos, but you sit down, you watch these videos, and you decide, you get a list of, like, claims. Like, these are the videos someone is trying stealing music
Hmm.
or using it outside of fair use. And, you pull up that video, you type it in, okay? And then you watch the video, and you watch the whole video. So, unless it's like a 10-hour version, in which case you can get like halfway through, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in and go, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just playing the same song.
Yeah.
But like you're sitting there and you're like, okay, like say the Star Wars video, it's got, they're playing a game. Well, the music's there, but the music's in the background. It's not featured. It's not the prominent reason. It's also not just the only thing playing. There's a guy talking, which means they're not, the audio isn't being sold. They're selling soundtrack.
Right.
They're talking over it, which is distorting the audio. If somebody was trying to get audio, that can't happen because there's a guy talking.
Right.
So no, this seems pretty in fair use. The talking about the game, he's playing it, the music's just, that's already there. And there you go. Video done. They check it as good, check it as no issue, send it away.
Mm-hmm.
Next video. 8 hours. And it's not like YouTube needs anything big to run YouTube. You don't even have to give someone a full-size computer. You could give everyone a basic smartphone.
Oh, yeah.
And have everyone just sit in a room with couches and just look through videos. Like, oh, okay, this is the videos. Type this in. This is my work phone. Watch YouTube videos and decide whether or not they're in fair use.
Mm-hmm.
And you could literally have a giant warehouse with couches and soda machines and AC on, and give everyone a smartphone and a pair of headphones, which are like $5 for a headphone. And you could probably pair up with like Samsung or something for, a deal to make smartphones in mass numbers.
Right.
And just have them sit there and fucking go through videos all day with headphones in. They can get up and get a snack. They've got lunch, scheduled breaks, and stuff like that. 8 hours a day. I do not believe in staffing issues.
Mm-hmm.
Especially not, because like the other thing is like, oh, well, staffing issues because we can't afford. Bullshit, you can't afford. You're telling me Google, who drops millions of dollars on pipe dreams, can't afford it? Bullshit.
Right.
Google will literally drop money on the dumbest shit. Google will be like, hey, this guy wants a toaster, wants to make a toaster that can also tell you the weather outside, and also this toaster will turn into a full-size, but look like a regular toaster.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking Google will back that for like $35 million. For that same price, you have 2 or 3 warehouses full of people working for. That's the other thing. It's not like Google or YouTube have to have these people working out of California.
Right.
You can have these people working in states where the cost of wage is lower.
That's true.
Like, it's not that hard. And you could even, make jobs around the world. Because there's creators from around the world.
Right.
So you don't need a translator for every video if you just warehouse in China and go, hey, it's got, fucking all the same shit it does in the US.
Mm-hmm.
It pops up in China and goes, hey, you guys watch shit like you YouTube, here's your list of claims, and decide whether or not it's fair use.
Yeah.
And then if the content creator, say somebody, because yeah, obviously there's the, well, what if somebody just doesn't like
Mm-hmm.
fairly? Then put in a request for another review like we do right now.
Right.
There you go. Fucking, like, right now, the amount of people, like, that's the other thing, is, like, YouTube does, like, a half-assed version of this right now. Right now, they have people who watch air quotes, your videos, and fucking decide whether or not it's advertiser friendly. Why not, instead of advertiser friendly, just find out if it's fair use? And have the advertisers find out them.
Mm-hmm.
Make the advertiser, the person who wants to sell their product there, do the legwork. Think about it. You don't have fucking, like, Adidas, because, like, the idea behind it is the same shit that stores. Say the Gap, right? The Gap has Gap brand clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And if Adidas wants to sell Adidas at the Gap, one of two things will happen. Whoever's the bigger company, go to the other guy and go, either I want my store, or I want my product in your store. Right? But whoever's the one asking is the guy who has to put in the legwork. If Gap wants Adidas in their store,
Right.
they have to go through trouble placing making sure it shows up to the right location, making sure they pay Adidas, displaying it correctly, and selling it. But if Adidas are the guys who want it sold to Gap, then Adidas have to go in legwork by communicating with, paying them a little bit extra to get them to put their shoes, paying for the display location. And if that was how YouTube was, Coke wants to put their videos, their ads for your videos, Coke has to do the legwork. They have to look at your side what
Mm-hmm.
they want their ads. Instead of being like TV, where we just blanket ads anywhere.
Right.
Because that's the thing. YouTube killed TV. YouTube is bigger than TV is dying. Essentially, it's dead. We're in the age of streaming.
Right.
And YouTube is the giant of that, but is still acting like they're the new kid on the street. Like, YouTube literally fucking, if they start implementing shit now, probably about they could make all the companies doing ad revenue,
Mm-hmm.
start making them look at the videos. And be like, nope, we're changing it. Fuck you. Oh, you don't like it? Okay, please.
Right.
Go ahead. Because guess what? For every company that pulls their ads, another company will put theirs up.
Hmm.
For every company that decides they won't apply by YouTube's rules, that they won't be bullied by this fucking internet thing they don't like, there will be a younger and smart person at a different company going, we need to be the person taking the risk, and that company. And when that first company that starts to compete
Mm-hmm.
that, they'll come crawling back.
Yeah.
And there you go. You've created a competitive market controlled by YouTube and its creators.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Yep. That took me 15 minutes. That took me 15 minutes to explain how you YouTube.
Sure.
And that's a conversation that somehow gets brought up into hour-long videos.
Yeah. And we're supposed to be talking about Star Wars. We haven't even touched the sequels.
Oh yeah, well, speaking back to the sequel,
Mm-hmm.
so I've got my blatant view of Disney
Yeah.
as a company.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to start on the movies now.
Cool.
Rogue One was great. I liked it. Force Awakens, great. It's good. In its own, in its own canon, great. Good movie. It was actually
Mm-hmm.
Hope, but there was actually. Let's talk about. Awakening of the Rebellion, or not Awakening of the Force Awakens, Force Awakens,
Mm-hmm.
Awakening of the Force Awakens. The Force Awakens. There is really only one major scene I have an issue with.
Mm-hmm.
In the whole thing. And well, maybe two, but a big one is Kylo Ren. At near the end of the movie, him on the fucking snow planet, he kills Han, which I think that part was actually done. You saw it coming, and you could even kind of, even Han kind of, but knew what was coming, and really
Right.
just wanted to trust, ready to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it meant his life. Han does, Chewie shoots him.
Right.
Now I get it. They just showed a few scenes where Chewie shoots a stormtrooper. That's caster. The stormtrooper just flies. This is an argument
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about. They were trying to make a counter argument to Kylo sucks as a bad guy in The Force Awakens.
Oh, well, yeah. Yes. I would
He
agree with
looks like a bitch. And they were saying that, well, during his fight with Finn and subsequent fight with Rey, that the excuse for him doing as poorly as he was doing was because he had just been shot in the side by a bowcaster, which we saw not moments before hit a stormtrooper, lifting him off his feet across the room.
that.
It's like, okay, yes. But here's the fucking thing. If he's strong enough to stand and walk and fight, he should not be getting his ass kicked in any room.
Right.
Let's first talk about the Kylo versus Finn fights that happened.
Sure.
So the Kylo versus Finn lightsaber fight that happened is obviously in the snow.
Yep.
Kylo has recently been shot in the side.
Mm-hmm.
Finn runs up, Finn and Kylo face off. Finn pulls out, returns. Ironically, stands pretty close to a Qui-Gon, which I think is fucking adorable.
Yeah.
Now let's look at this in context, right?
Yes.
Finn is a stormtrooper.
Yep. Yep.
He has hand-to-hand training.
Yep.
Because that's a basic thing for stormtroopers to have.
Mm-hmm.
He has marksman's training.
Yep.
Good. And he probably has knife training.
Probably.
Maybe that Tonfa training. If he happened to be in that division.
Or it could have the stick.
That's what I mean. The Tonfa, the spinny electro thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he's got that training. If he happened to be in that division. I don't know. I haven't looked.
Well, they said that his first time ever being in a battle was when he went and slaughtered those people.
Which, yeah, fuck. We'll get Finn. There is Finn as a character. Weak.
Yeah.
For his I can't handle killing people, and then there's all people, essentially his friend.
Right. Yeah.
Without so much of a batting of an eyelid, just bad writing of a character.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I still maintain that Finn and Poe should have been gay.
Oh, I didn't really care, but sure, I guess that's.
So the reason for this is because Finn and Poe have more chemistry on screen than anyone else in that fucking movie.
Fair enough.
But at the same time, they kind of trying to push Finn and Rey as a thing.
Right.
And it's like, don't do that. Just let the other two happen. It's it'd be like if Han and Leia had their whole kind of back and forth, and then Leia ended up with Chewbacca.
Ah.
You'd be like, what? No, what the fuck? That's.
Or worse, if she ended up with Luke.
Oh yeah.
Like from Empire.
Well, fuck. Even then, Luke and Leia had some flirting happen in the first movie. At least they didn't.
Yeah.
But at least there was some flirting put there. all of Finn and Rey's fucking screen time feels like the most awkward conversation. Like someone just made a race joke and the other guy is not okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like every time they're on screen together. They're so stiff, fucking rigid. And ironically, we know it's not John Boyega, the guy who plays Finn, because in the scenes with Poe, he's really relaxed and quite funny.
Yes.
And does a really good job of dialogue.
Yeah, I'd agree. They had the best scenes together, yeah.
Yeah. And Rey, well, Rey's kind of...
Well, she's boring, and that's her own thing.
Yeah. Which, I will say, I don't think it's the actress's fault. From what I have seen when she's in shows, or just like, videos of her live, I think she's a good actress. I think she's just been...
Mm-hmm.
I do want to put that out now. I don't feel any of these actors are bad actors. They're all good actors.
Maybe not Rose. She's kind of...
Who is Rose?
The Asian...
Is that the chick from the Solo movie?
No, that's the Asian lady who's supposed to be Finn's love interest.
Oh, I forgot about her.
She's shit, but everyone else is good. Yeah, but
God, I forgot she existed.
Yeah, exactly. People call her what do they call her? I think they call her Shrek because of
That's bad.
Her fucking dialogue. I don't know. It's bad. What is it?
Just bad dialogue.
Yeah, I believe it's the dialogue because of some of how Shrek would like say things and then no one would fucking react.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone was recorded separately.
Right.
Yeah, that's bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I forgot she existed. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is, so going back to that, we have Finn fighting, and which, by the way, can we point out that Finn is a first name John Boyega?
Yeah.
The actual actor John Boyega, they should have just used his name. Like, they should have just rewritten shit. Because John Boyega sounds like a Star Wars character.
Right.
Like, I want to play as John Boyega in a game. I'm not so great about Finn in a game.
Mm-hmm.
I sound like Finding Nemo. Anyways, sorry, getting off topic. So, in that fight, right, we see Finn puts his lightsaber, Kylo activates his, and they start to fight, and Kylo's, deflecting him, and it's clear he's kind of exhausted. He's deflecting him, and then he like goes for a swing, and fucking Finn cuts his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And Kylo like kind of wrenches back and clutches his shoulder, looks at it, and has this like, oh no, I got hit.
Right.
And fucking like, wah, and fucking does his thing where he slices up the spine of Finn.
Oh yeah, and he should be fucking dead at that point.
Oh yeah, whole ass should be. Finn he had gone.
Yeah.
Should have died. Done. So he like slices up his spine, or Kylo's like, and he like fucking punches his side.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, yeah, that makes sense. He's trying to make adrenaline run to location. He's trying to get his body to push through it.
Sure.
Now, my issue with this already is that take that fight into just that little moment into context. We have Finn in context. Let's look at Kylo.
Right.
Kylo is the son of two generals.
Right.
So we know he has at least blaster training.
Presumably, yes. Yep.
His uncle is a goddamn Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best Jedi to ever live.
Right.
Was able to sword fight, or lightsaber fight, Darth and win.
Right.
Anakin. A fantastic fucking lightsaber.
Right, the guy
Vader,
who's like supposed to be the best
lightsaber
lightsaber
Jedi.
fighter. Yeah.
Like, so Luke essentially just beat the world champion of lightsaber fighting, and then that guy's his uncle who taught him how to fight.
Right, yeah, Kylo's supposed to be like fucking amazing at sword fighting.
Yeah. Well, and then it gets even more than that. Kylo then mirrors all the other fucking teaching.
Right.
So we know Kylo should be like fucking top tier fucking lightsaber user, man. This guy should be untouchable.
Yeah, he
like
really should
in
be.
any situation. And then he's fighting this dude who's like a classic soldier.
He's like, yeah, you were a stormtrooper, and I know everything you've been trained for,
Yeah, like I literally know every single bit of your daily routine and the training you did, and I've been training.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's the other thing. Let's take this into like a next, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we took a fucking samurai, like a modern day samurai,
Mm-hmm.
someone who is, oh, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
um, someone who has trained their entire life
Right.
for sword. Um, like the second they were like 5 years old, their entire life, learning how to use a sword, how to fight people, kendo training they've done, live sword training.
Right.
You know, someone who's committed their life to fighting a modern day soldier with a sword.
Yeah.
No matter how tough that soldier is, he should not be able to beat that sword.
Yeah. Probably not.
Now, I know somebody's like, well, what if that samurai got shot in the eye?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we saw from Kylo, it was a flesh wound.
Right.
Because if it was a critical wound, he'd be dead.
Exactly.
Because guess what? It's a fucking bowcaster. It's not a the bowcaster is the equivalent to getting shot with a like 500 bullet.
Mm-hmm.
If it would have hit something vital, Kylo would have dropped like a rag doll. Or
Sure.
how strong, of course, because of time to connect his body, you know,
Yeah.
to like preserve himself. He would have just dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Movie over.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty quick movie. Yeah.
Like, so clearly, it's a flesh wound. It's a scathing, and we can even see it. It's shot, hits him, and of
Yeah. It's like in his
you know,
chest or shoulder or something. Yeah.
no, it's on the side, like the almost
Or
like
no,
where,
no, no. His side of his ribs.
yeah. So, but it's low. It's like below his ribs too, because it's where the wrapping is.
Mm-hmm.
So we know it didn't hit anything vital because it's not like it was far back to hit the kidney. It was just like a nice fuck off, like ow, I got hit. In the...
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm sure, like a son of a bitch, but he's fine. And like, okay, let's apply that same type of to a
Mm-hmm.
samurai, someone who's trained their entire life, and up, say you stab him in the side, where you know it's not going to do anything, but like a bitch. That
Right.
swordsman should still be able to beat the shit that soldier without any attempt, especially if the soldier is using the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Which is my other gripe about that fight. At no point does Finn attempt to fight like a fucking dirty bastard.
Right.
Finn's a soldier. Why does he not like kick fucking Kylo in?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like you would think fucking Finn, the second their like blades crossed, Finn would like swung his foot up and just like fucking toe kicked right into the fucking wood. Cause then I would have bought it a little of Finn holding his own versus Kylo. Is if he's kind of being a dickbag and like constantly hitting him in his like weak point,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in his fresh wood. Okay, I'll buy that. That would suck like a bitch, and it'd be really hard to being
Right.
hit there. You know, like that's a real world tactic when soldiers fight other soldiers. If somebody is injured, you go for the injury. Repeatedly hit it to make them, you know, not be able to focus as well because they're getting hit in an.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dick way of fighting, but you have to because you're trying to win and survive. And so, like, if Finn would have done that, it would have made a bit more sense. But he doesn't. He just fights him with the sword that he's never used before, except for running around stabbing people. And like that was all he was doing, stabbing people. But like the fact that he lands a shoulder shot, Kylo, isn't because this means that Finn was inches away from murdering Kylo.
Right.
Because if he'd gotten even any bit deeper, he would have cut his arm,
Mm-hmm.
and you're done.
Right. Yeah. I mean, any.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what self-respecting swordsman is gonna let themselves get hit even when wounded, is going to leave that big of an opening. That'd be like a boxer going in who just finished like their 5th round, walking in and just keeping their hands down by their side, not protecting their face.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't
Like-
make sense.
No.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of problems with lightsaber combat anyway. I mean, like if you had because there's something interesting that was talked about is like how projectile weapons are actually pretty common things to use to fight against Jedi, because lasers, because they're slow enough that you can see them
Yeah.
coming. Like a bullet,
Yeah.
you wouldn't necessarily even see it, so you wouldn't
Yeah,
know where
there's
to block.
there's slug rounds in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
So do you know why people don't typically use slug?
I assume they're expensive.
No, they're outdated. Most forms of armor protect against them.
Oh.
Yeah, they won't do anything. It'd be the equivalent of shooting airsoft at someone in full armor. So it's not, common to see those types of weapons. But bounty hunters and people during the wars who did fight Jedi, yeah, they typically bring slug weapons. Because, yeah, a lightsaber can't block it because of how fast and slow the projectile.
Right. A Jedi wouldn't be used to something that fast.
Good.
I mean,
well,
you can't even
and that's
see
the
a
thing.
bullet fly
Jedi
through
were
the
actually
air.
trained to go against those. Do you know what a Jedi would do in that situation?
What?
Hide.
Oh.
I shit you not. Jedi will hide and use the Force to drop trees on fuckers. They'll throw their lightsaber at the fucker. They'll fucking use the Force to make that fucker aim the gun at his face and pull the trigger.
Huh.
Yeah. Because, that weapons exist, but you also, have to remember it's the same thing like someone with telekinesis. Yeah, you can have a gun. That person with telekinesis is able to stop shit. They can take that gun, put it in your mouth, and go bang. You know?
Yeah.
And that's someone just with basic telekinesis. Force persuasion, where they can just make you forget your...
Right.
Christ. And so, yeah, those... And that is a good... But it's completely impractical, especially the age of, the New Order, for them to use it in widespread use. Because there's not that many Jedi. And even during the Clone Wars, it would be more expensive to make these really outdated droids to carry than to have them use blasters.
Sure.
And even Jedi can be shot down with just enough concentrated fire. So most of the time it was cheaper, easier to just have a lot of droids shooting at one Jedi. Just have 100 droids shooting at... They can't block them all. He'll block maybe 50 of them, and then he's dead. And that's a real thing. That's why a lot of the time the Jedi would do big sweeping motions and keep safe. Then they would still duck into cover. Because even the Jedi understood they're not immortal.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and I think that lends credit to the Finn Kylo fight as well. Why did Finn not shoot Kylo?
I don't think he had a gun on him.
Did he not? He didn't have a gun on the fucking melt?
Because in the before that, during the battle where the Force Order came and attacked everybody on the
the other planet.
Yeah, the other planet, the foresty one. If I remember right, Maz gave him Luke's lightsaber and just.
I thought she gave it to Rey.
No, she gave it to Finn because she's like, oh.
Oh, right, because
he's like, oh, I don't have. Yeah, because he's like, oh, I don't have a weapon, and she's like, nah, here's this, and he's like, oh, okay,
and he just kind of keeps stabbing people.
Right, and then he just kind of keeps it forever, as far as I know.
Okay, see, but that's weird. Wouldn't you think he would carry a gun with him?
Well, no, he put it down or whatever for some reason. There was a
but
reason.
I mean, he has a belt. And then they still had a whole ship, travel in space. And a whole hyperspace jump.
Yeah.
I think at some point he should have picked a gun back up. That's just poor.
I don't know.
Anyway. Yeah, so that fight happened, right? And he fucking, he gets sliced up and then Rey shows up. Which, by the way, can we talk
about what? Sorry.
The lightsaber. Finn gets the back. The lightsaber goes flying.
Yeah.
Kylo goes to force pull the lightsaber,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes up in the air, stops, and then gets flies away from it, goes in Rey's hand.
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
You don't think that Rey would be stronger than Kylo?
Rey is bullshit. Rey's a bitch. She's a pussy ass little bitch. Let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
She has no experience with Force.
Mm-hmm.
None. She is not the Jean Grey of Star Wars.
Actually, she is. She's
No, she's not.
she's a Mary
No.
Sue. I mean, that's her character.
No, she's worse than a Mary Sue.
What are you
Because a
talking about?
Mary Sue character has a fucking overarching progression.
Mm-hmm.
A Mary Sue character earns their fucking win. They become strong. They become great. This bitch earns nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Finn was a better main character and should have
I thought he was going to be the main character, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
earned more of that fight than Rey had any business. Finn should have gotten the Force. Rey should have been designated a side character.
right.
And the lineage thing is bullshit. The later excuse of she's Palpatine's daughter is bullshit.
Because
It doesn't matter who your fucking parents are. That's not how the Force works.
Well, actually, it kind of
And this
does. I mean,
no,
that's
no,
was what was going on with
I'll
Anakin.
point it out. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, because
This
he
is
was
what I'll point out.
created by.
Nah. He was created by Plagueis. That's not his dad. He was made of the Force. This is the equivalent to being like a chicken making an egg
Mm-hmm.
and genetically growing a perfect egg.
Sure.
One of these is going to be better because you genetically created a perfect egg.
Mm-hmm.
To every single cell you made, sure, this thing is perfect, right?
Yeah.
That egg is going to be better than the egg that has a chance of being decent coming out of a chicken's ass. And even if you let both of those grow up into like chicks, right? They both get fertilized, but you fertilize one with like fucking, again, genetically created, like you genetically grow a chicken
Mm-hmm.
to be a perfect chicken. That chicken's going to be perfect.
Sure.
The other chicken has chances of anything happening to it because it's
Mm-hmm.
life. It could get, it could have a leg. It could develop. It could be nearsighted. It could be fucking paranoid, which is a chickens.
Mm-hmm.
It could have defects. The likelihood of a natural-born chicken being anywhere near as perfect as a made chicken
Mm-hmm.
is astronomical. Now, even with all that in fact, Anakin doesn't use the Force when he's a kid. This is why I say this. At no point do we see him fucking force lift a fucking vehicle. He doesn't pull anything anywhere.
Sure.
He just is lucky. The Force in Star Wars kind of acts like luck.
Yeah.
It tends to help you with the odds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all his connection to the Force helps him do. He learns how to do it. It helps him be lucky. Rey never learned how. So how did she first pull the lightsaber?
Mm-hmm.
She's not stronger than Anakin. She's not. He's the genetic perfect. Even though Palpatine's great and all, she's not. Even if she was a direct Palpatine, she wouldn't be perfect. She still wouldn't be as perfect as Anakin. Palpatine was as perfect as Anakin.
Yeah.
And Anakin couldn't do that.
That's true.
Because you have to learn how. It'd be the equivalent to, like, if your dad was a great marksman and trained every day, and yeah, you genetically, maybe you inherited skill. Maybe your eyes are a bit sharp, whatever. And someone genetically made for it, it doesn't matter. The first time either of you pick up a gun, if you're like 5 or fucking 18, if you've never seen a gun before, never used it, or never had a concept of it, you're probably not going to hit your fucking bullseye.
Yeah.
Let alone beat out someone who's a master marksman.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point.
There's no reason, one, she should have used lightsaber worse. Because think about Luke doing it, right? Who is the direct heir of Anakin.
Yeah.
Think of how much slow time concentration it took for him to learn to force pull a lightsaber. The first time he ever does it is in Empire Strikes Back. He's hanging upside down in a life or death situation with a fucking in the eating. He hears a force ghost telling him how to do it. Focus, pay attention, and he fucking slowly reaches out his hand, and it takes a long time, and it wiggles. Finally, flies up his hand, and he cuts himself free.
Right. Yeah.
Rey does none of this. Rey shows up, reaches out her hand, and even she looks shocked and goes near. Almost like she didn't know she was pulling the fucking.
Yeah.
It's all like Rey through the fucking seems to be just as confused about writing as I am. Because shit happens around her and she looks just. Did that really just fucking happen? Oh, okay. I guess we're that way. Like, there's no way she should have been able to force pull the lightsaber. Let alone fucking against Kylo, who again is a trained fucking master of this shit, man. We see at the beginning of this same him use the Force to laser and like as a secondary thought while he's having a conversation. To the point where he almost forgets that he's doing it when he's walking away, because you see him literally stop, look at it, and go, "Oh yeah," and then it fucking goes.
Yeah.
This guy uses the Force as such a secondary. It's breathing to him. It's so ingrained. And this bitch just pulls it away from him? No!
Yeah.
If anything, they should have pulled a fucking Ryan versus Brian, the fucking lightsaber duel. She should have pulled it, like, started pulling it, and he should have laughed and turned it on and stabbed her.
Oh, shit. That would have been kind of cool. You know, it could have also been a little more believable if it looked like she was actually trying instead of being like, "Oh shit, that worked." Like,
right?
She was so fucking
like if she was
surprised.
struggling,
yeah,
fucking sweating,
right?
Yeah, not just, "Oh hey,
yeah,
cool, I have this now."
And then Kylo just looks like he's a fucking garbage because he couldn't even,
beat someone who's never done this before.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah. So that happened, and then he fights her with a saber, and she again, like, he holds his own. Quake happens, and they get separated.
Right.
And it's like, shouldn't he have dominated her even more than Finn? Finn had the one previous battle.
Right.
And like, I've heard people, actually the guy who was trying to make, where he was like, remember, she had her fight with a little bow staff. She knew how to use her little bow staff thing back on Jakku. It's like, yeah, that doesn't translate, bud.
Right.
Like, if you take someone who trains their whole life in a bow staff and hand them a sword, they're not going to be as good with the sword as they are with a bow staff. There's a whole half of a weapon missing there. And, like, a front part that you can't grip. Like...
Well, that's why at the end of, Rise of Skywalker, she has her double-sided lightsaber.
Which is bullshit, by the way. I'm going to say I'm bullshit.
Why?
Because lightsaber pikes are a thing.
Okay, but what do you mean? Like, so?
A lightsaber pike. Because a double blade doesn't work like a bow staff. Because a bow staff, you can hold anywhere along the entire bow to hit someone. You push it forward to get longer range. You pull it back. Push it down to get longer, like hit backward. You move your hands across the bow staff.
Right.
A double blade, your hands are stuck in the center.
Yes.
If you move your hands, you lose your hand.
Fair enough.
Movement translates. It's not the same type of.
Yeah.
We had two double-sided swords in the real world. Those weren't used by the same people who staff. You know what is closer to staff? a fucking spear,
Yeah, that does
which is a
seem
staff
weird.
with one little thing at the end, like a lightsaber pike, which is a spear, with a lightsaber at the end, which already exists
Yeah, that does kind of make a little more sense.
and would have given her a unique weapon to sell.
Oh, true. Shit,
Yeah! Instead of trying to sell the same fucking double blade from Darth Maul and just changing the color, you could have made an entire new weapon that people already bought double blades
Mm-hmm.
and already have different colors that can now just go blue. Oh look, now it's Ray's.
Well, actually, hers is
Instead,
gold, so it's unique.
oh whatever. No, people have they sold the fucking crystal. But that's what I mean. Is someone can just change the color and be like, "Ooh, look, I'm Ray now." Or if you sold a lightsaber pike, people like collectors would have to go out and buy your new lightsaber.
Right.
There's your product, and it would make Ray look impressive and more distinct,
Mm-hmm.
and show just how different she is from.
Right.
Also, you get the cool Amazon vibe. You know, the fucking badass woman with the spear.
Mm-hmm.
You would have gotten that vibe with just what her hair. Like, you were already going for like a fucking tribal warrior.
Right.
Go all the way. Give her a spear. Give her a lightsaber spear.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
She would have looked cooler. She would have been more badass, and she could have fucking fit and shown
right.
weapon to sell. I don't know. It's that kind of thing, and that's the thing. I think that's
That's the main issue. Yeah.
the lady doesn't the woman in charge doesn't understand
Yeah,
how
Kathleen
much
Kennedy.
Star Wars is out. Yeah, she doesn't understand. She thinks there's so little Star Wars.
Right.
If she would have taken seconds, or if anyone taken seconds to read a Star,
Right.
like all this stuff that's now legend,
Right.
read
Whatever.
those. Read if any of them would have glanced past Pike, I guarantee you someone would. Can we use this?
Right.
Wouldn't that make sense if she used this? This is
Yeah.
cool.
There's all
And
kinds of
it's
cool
not in
stuff
the
she
movies,
didn't
but she
use.
used
Yeah.
it.
Well, she used the
This would
Dark
be cool for her.
Troopers, and she used the, she used some stuff. Like,
But
they actually
like
made the Grand Moff Tarkin series canon, the books.
that doesn't make it. That's the other thing. I hate that, by the way.
What?
I hate their fucking decanoning everything
Mm-hmm.
and then going back and picking and choosing what they want canon because they're finding out it.
Hmm.
You know why I hate that?
Why?
Because there's so much. If they wouldn't have decanon any of it and instead taken the time first to find out what's left,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't have had to have decanoned anything.
Right.
They could have just read in with. There's stuff they have that they can never fix by recanoning because it just makes more questions.
Sure.
And like that's the bigger issue. Instead of taking your time, you feel like if someone dumped out all the pieces and then grabbed a handful, and tossed these are garbage,
Mm-hmm.
and then started putting the puzzle together and see missing pieces. They took a piece of card and cut pieces to fit however they wanted, and then was like, "Oh, you know what? This picture doesn't look like it should. I'm gonna try and grab those other pieces from not what I've added
Mm-hmm.
and try and fit these old pieces."
Sure.
That doesn't work, and you ruined the picture.
Yeah.
Like now your puzzle is just a janky pile of board,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I feel Star Wars has become. It's just a janky pile of brand. There's no fluidity. There's no storytelling.
Yeah.
It's just brand slapped on top. Look at us. We're new. Don't you like us? Just say Star Wars on it.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that, and these movies all suck. After Rogue One, they all suck.
Yeah,
Solo
I mean,
sucks. It should have just been a Lando movie.
yeah, I was gonna say it could have been a Lando movie, and shit, we never got the Obi-Wan movie.
Which apparently that's becoming a show.
What?
Yeah, apparently they bring one.
But I'm not gonna
They're
watch a
fucking.
fucking show. I wanted to see a movie.
Also, can I just real quick? I'm just gonna do a shout out to anyone watching the Mandalorian franchise. Fuck you if you think Mandalorians don't take off their helmet. Go read a book.
Well, obviously we know Mandalorians take off their helmets. Jango Fett did it all the time in episode
Yeah,
2.
you would not believe how many people watch this new fuck because the guy in the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
that's his personal motto.
Right.
People are now claiming that any Mandalorian, no Mandalorian ever take off, that it's like against the code. And it's like, no! Are you fucking kidding me? Jango took off his helmet. Candor Gordo, the fucking Mandalore, took off his helmet. People take off their helmet. It's just accessory.
Yeah.
They're not fucking statues. They don't live and breathe inside their fucking armor, man.
Right.
Like,
You
they
gotta
wear
pee
it
and
when they
eat
go
and
out.
shit.
But yeah, like, it's just armor. Like, yeah, they're proud of their armor, kind of like Japanese samurai were. But you don't
Right.
think samurai slept in their armor, do you? No. You fucking put it on a display and fight. You fucking leave it there.
Exactly.
Like, no.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
I fucking hate that so much.
I still like the show though. I like Mandalorian. It's pretty fun.
I have issues with.
Really?
It's the comedy bits.
Oh,
Kind of just making
Star
Storm
Wars has never been
like
funny anyway. So.
yeah, well, and that's the thing is it just kind of makes like their comedy so far I've seen feels like there are some the IG-80
Oh yeah, IG-88.
itself,
It's pretty fun.
that's fucking funny
Yeah.
because it's Droid. I get it. The joke's funny. Droid thinks I don't want to die. I have to die, so I get captured. Human doesn't want to die.
Right.
That's a funny joke.
Yeah.
Fine. The two scout troopers who can't hit a
Oh yeah, I
can?
love that. That was hilarious.
I hate that.
Why?
Because stormtroopers can aim.
Yeah, but they're scout troopers, so
Scout troopers are snipers.
that's why it was funny, dude.
That's even worse.
No, I know, but that's why I thought it was funny because I was like, these two guys are fucking horrible.
But that's the thing. Is like, okay, if it was like just an inside joke for like, you know, well-versed Star Wars fans, that would be one thing. But it's not. It's a fucking joke played on a fucking show where a common fucking misconception in the Star Wars universe, especially after Disney took over, is that stormtroopers can't aim.
Even though Finn can.
Yeah. So now there's a bunch of assholes who are like, dude, no stormtroopers, just fuck the Mandalorian. You can't even hit a fucking can.
Well, I've never heard that shit, but
I have.
ugh, that sounds like a
Yeah.
bitch. Yeah.
I've literally heard people. Stormtroopers can't hit anything. They suck. How'd they part the galaxy?
Well, I mean,
They weren't trying to hit them. They literally say it. Chasing them and shooting them. When they fucking leave, they're like, it was sure it was an idea to let them get away.
yeah.
They fucking were faking.
Right.
The whole point is that they were letting them go. They were making it look convincing.
I mean, shit, a stormtrooper hit Leia in Endor. I mean,
yeah, they can hit. They have aim. They killed fucking tons of Ewoks. They killed rebels for years.
yeah, they're really good at killing rebels.
They murder the shit out of everyone.
Yeah.
Like, stormtroopers shouldn't have a stupid joke of they can't hit people. But for whatever reason, that's still a thing. Especially with the new generation of people who watch from Disney. They're like, that's the only thing they know of Star Wars. Is, oh, stormtroopers can't aim. It's like, fuck off. Fuck off with your bullshit. Stormtroopers can aim. They're soldiers. They're well-trained soldiers. They fucking rule the galaxy.
Right.
Fuck. Anyways. Yeah, Rey's bullshit. Kylo looks like a horseman.
Yeah.
You know what it feels like? At least episode 1, 2, and 3, the prequel,
Yeah.
felt like one coherent narrative.
Well, yeah, George Lucas designed them all to work together. Like, he
Exactly.
planned
They
it
felt
out.
like they were all one thing.
Yeah, they
Now,
storyboarded
the
the whole
original
thing.
trilogy doesn't really have that because they weren't planned. They just kind of came as they came.
Yeah.
But the new ones have no excuse to be like that.
Well, they
They
should have
planned
all
for
been
all.
planned. Yeah.
They did. And yet they all feel like they never should have seen each other.
Well, that's because of all the director changes, isn't it?
That's. No, the scripts are bad. The, like, plain script writing of the
Well, but what
franchise, like,
happened
the
was J.J.
franchise.
Abrams wrote up his script, and then J.J. Abrams even wrote scripts for, 8 and 9, and then Ryan Johnson came in and pretty much said, nah, fuck your script, I'm gonna do my own script.
See, but that's not what you should allow your directors of your multi-billion-dollar fucking corporation do.
Well, because apparently they said that if Ryan Johnson can make his Episode 8 good, he would get his own Star Wars TV show that he could
But he
direct.
didn't.
I know, so it's really stupid. So he pretty much fucked over the series for no reason.
Well, and that's the other thing, is why would you let him do it with episode 8 instead of giving him a TV show, which is cheaper?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why not be like, here, test out your skills with the fucking TV show pilot, see how that does, and if that does well, we'll try episode 8.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, why take fucking shit away from J.J. Abrams?
I don't know. It didn't make sense to me either. I was thinking, like, why isn't JJ just doing all three so he can do a full narrative like he wanted?
Right.
Like, he had
Also,
everything planned out. Like, he was good to
given
go.
Force Awakens was an okay movie, the rest of them would have been fine.
Yeah, they probably would have been okay. Because apparently he wanted to do a whole thing with the Knights of Ren and stuff, hunting Rey to train her and stuff, and
Which would have made sense.
yeah. And instead of
Good.
and there'd be like apparent. I think now I might be wrong about this, but I believe that Kylo Ren was supposed to have more of a relationship with Darth Vader's ghost and
Yeah,
stuff,
well,
like
and
talking
even
to
that
him
would.
and stuff. I mean, even that'd be a bit cheesy though, but like.
Well, no, because fucking Obi-Wan and Luke.
Yeah, but are you gonna
If
have James Earl Jones come back and like keep voice
you don't
acting?
need him,
And who would the actor
you don't
be
need him.
playing? Would they
You
get
don't
Hayden
need him.
Christensen as the
Yeah,
ghost?
yeah.
But his voice.
Why would it be James Earl Jones? James
Because
Earl Jones is the sound of Vader in the suit.
yeah, that's true. I guess.
The second Luke takes his helmet off, he doesn't sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be Hayden Christensen.
Okay.
Yeah, and it would have been Kylo talking to Hayden Christensen, which would have made more sense. Because also, death, yeah, he like redeemed, would still kind of make sense for him being a dick.
Well, you know what?
Especially if like he finds out that his kid tried to murder his fucking nephew
Well,
in his sleep.
here's the weird thing. Why would you use Hayden Christensen? Because remember how in Episode 6, like you see Darth Vader and he's a fully grown old egg-headed man. And
In the redo.
I know, and in the redo, they changed it so that way it's Hayden Christensen. But I'm thinking,
Yeah.
like, if I was Luke hanging out and I see Obi-Wan appear, and then I see random young guy appear, I'd be like, who the fuck is this? You
Yeah,
know?
but that's already in.
No, I know.
We're not recanoning those. Like we're not redoing those. It would make less sense for it to be old guy.
Yeah.
Because now, why would Anakin start aging once he's a ghost?
I know they fucked it up. Whatever. So, yes.
Also, in the original movie, by the way, the original before any edits, it was a young guy.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't Hayden Christensen. It was I remember, yeah, because they got the guy who it was the same guy though who played the British guy who played Darth Vader.
Yeah, who actually looked young as shit.
I thought it was like in his 40s.
He didn't look. Yeah, but he didn't look like he was fucking anywhere near the 60 that.
Well, yeah, he wasn't like Obi-Wan. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not talking that old, but.
But that's what I mean. He already looked young. He didn't look like he was. But even Hayden Christensen, who has aged,
yeah,
could be fucking in those movies as just. Also, what if his ghost starts getting corrupted? Because that's a thing in Star Wars.
Oh shit! Really? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because your ghost is just the memory of you. It's what's left of essence. So if someone like Exar Kun, who is when he died, was not a Sith or technically Jedi, and he fought a whole the fucking planet of Yavin and was going to take the natives and, like, conquer the galaxy to save the galaxy, then he dies. Because he's on Yavin, which is a covered dark side, his ghost gets corrupted, which is why he fights Luke eventually. Is because thousands of years later, his ghost has just been trapped on this planet, seeping in with Darkseid for thousands of years.
Sure.
So his ghost went fucking insane.
Okay.
So you literally could have had Vader where, like, you know, Kylo found it, and Kylo, Vader's helmet, tried for him in his sleep, is fucking racked in the dark, and then Anakin's Force Ghost, which barely way back to light, is back into fucking with Kylo and is, hey man, like, you can't do this, you know, like, why not? Think about how much safer the galaxy.
Yeah.
Now shit's out of control. We have to do. Luke's out of control. You fucking trying to murder me, man.
Yeah, I know, but what did you think of the fact that Palpatine was supposed to be Vader's voice? Who's talking to Kylo? In Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, faking as.
Yeah, Palpatine said that he was pretending to be all the voices Kylo was hearing. He thought he was talking to, instead of the actual.
Did
Force
Kylo
ghost.
actually?
Yeah, Kylo heard Vader and thought he was talking to Vader, and that's
when
why he
did
felt.
That happen?
It's implied, I think, because like.
Yeah, no,
he
fuck
talks
that. No, you
because
don't get implied.
Well, because we see him meditating to the mask and stuff, and
but
he
that's
talks
not.
About how he wants
you
to
don't get
uphold
that.
What Vader did and stuff.
But you don't get that. You don't get to imply shit in a movie. It's a show medium, not a tell medium. Show me. You don't get to, like, if Luke would have been in the middle of Hoth and just looked out into the snow and said, Dagobah!
Right.
No one would have thought, oh, I guess he was talking to Obi-Wan. No! You show Obi-Wan show. We hear the shit. You don't get to imply shit with main characters in a movie. Not like that.
Well, that's what they did.
No, that's bullshit. That's another sign of that fucking franchise being fucked. And no direction to these fucking movies. It's just jacking off in a random direction and seeing whatever pops out. There's no consistency. There's no giving a shit.
Oh, wait, fuck. I know how it happened. I think... Wait. No, that doesn't make sense. I was thinking of Rey, but no, Palpatine wasn't messing with Rey's thoughts, right?
I don't know.
Because when Rey picks up the lightsaber in Force Awakens, she does hear Vader talking, like from Episode 5, when he was talking to Luke and stuff. And when she gets like the memories of Luke and Anakin, when she touches the lightsaber.
I don't remember that.
That's in Force Awakens. It's when she first finds the lightsaber in the box.
Oh,
like she grabs it. And
by the way, the lightsaber in the box doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
that bitch get it.
Yeah, I know. I'm still waiting for that answer. I never got it.
Yeah, it's a cloud planet, and it fell out of exhaust port where it inevitably should have sat in
the
planet for eternity.
Yeah, there's no way anyone would have ever found it.
That thing should have been gone.
Oh, what was also annoying was that in The Last Jedi, when Luke was his force projecting and stuff, and he had the blue lightsaber, when he probably should have been using his green lightsaber.
Green? Yeah.
And also, the blue lightsaber got destroyed by Kylo on the ship a few hours earlier, so Kylo should have known Luke was faking it, because he couldn't get his own lightsaber. Yeah.
That's not...
Right.
I just broke that.
Exactly. It's stupid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's so many things. Again, and that's the Force Awakens.
Well, no, that was Last Jedi, the Luke ghost projection.
That's what I mean. Everything after Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Or after Rogue One. Rogue One was great.
Rogue One was a really good movie, actually.
But yeah, the
new movie sucked. Oh my god.
There's just the whole... Also, fuck the whole Palpatine kid thing.
Yeah.
Like, Palpatine still being alive? I'll buy it.
Really?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
After he fell into the Death Star and then exploded?
Yep. You know why?
Why?
Because they could have done it correctly.
What do you
He's
mean?
supposed to have a clone.
Oh.
Like a proper clone that is fucking
But then
like
he'd
brain
look all
dead.
young and stuff, wouldn't it? Like he'd look like the normal actor from Episode 3.
Yep.
So.
Which would have made more sense.
Yeah. That's what I thought they were going to do, and then they didn't.
That's what I mean. Like, conceptually.
Oh, okay.
That, conceptually, I would have... Like he did in the extended universe, puts his face in brain, an empty clone, and then just fucking starts letting the Empire rebel fight it out. Nope, I'll just outlive all.
Right.
I'll let you all fucking deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there was no need. Literally, the only reason Rey turns into Palpatine because they didn't want to be, oh, we predicted because everyone guessed that, a Skywalker. So we'll make fucking Palpatine's kid, then still have her take the fucking name of Skywalker, which isn't how families work.
Yeah, she should just be a Palpatine and like try and make the name mean something for good and stuff.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been a better idea? Is having like a good guy with this tragic, heritage?
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool.
Make her a good enough good guy that she's overcoming dark instead of, nope, I'm gonna ignore my past, then who my family. Just fucking change my name and hide it, which totally won't backfire if I become a
Yeah, I don't know.
public. Like, you don't think eventually someone's gonna go, hey, yeah, we found out because we were looking at that plan. You had that Palpatine's body was, and that you're his kid, or grandkid.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a shady shit to fucking hide. Also, to take Skywalker didn't have odd.
Right.
Like, that brings up more questions in universe than she would be able to answer.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, the name of Skywalker isn't exactly doing that hot right now. Like, fucking the last Skywalker, Luke, fucking sucked.
Right.
He made a school for new Jedi, and then when he attempted to murder students. Skywalkers don't exactly have a great reputation right now.
Yeah.
And if you're going to restore a name, why not name started thing anyway? Like, fucking Christ. Also, I hate that Kylo dies.
Oh, you don't like that Kylo dies?
No, I think Rey should have died.
Oh yeah, I think Rey probably should have died too.
I think Rey should have died, and that should have been Kylo's turn.
Mm-hmm.
That should have been it. It should have been Rey dies, Kylo has his
Good.
final,
Yeah.
he's had his good guy moment. Now he sees her die, and this is it. And now could start a whole new trilogy of Kylo, where he's fighting against, or a show about Kylo
Ooh, yeah.
of him fighting against the Empire, or still pretending to be one Empire
Mm-hmm.
and secretly helping.
Yeah.
Fuck, make a game of it.
Kind of like Force Unleashed.
Imagine. Yeah, well, no. Imagine playing a video game, like not Force Unleashed, where it's that like, oh, but imagine playing a game, like even imagine a fucking like like an adventure game, kind of like I'm currently playing the Jedi Fall.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, he let me borrow it.
Oh.
I did not pay for it. He gave it. Borrow it. It's good. It's okay. There's already a lot of things that happen in it that are like, nah, that doesn't.
Like it doesn't make sense.
But then there's a lot of other things that are like, okay, that's really cool. A lot of it is it runs the Inquisitors idea that Disney brought up, and I hate that. I hate the Inquisitors. They're such a shit thing to get added.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what the entire game is, running from them or dealing with them. But it also has like classic video game mistakes, where like you're like going through a whole temple and like doing giant puzzles. It kind of feels like Tomb Raider, the Star Wars edition.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad, but there are moments where like, so this is an exact moment of the game. You're going through this fucking entire temple, and bad guy who was behind you, and intercepts your communication. Starts. I'm already at the thing. I already have said thing. You're too late. You better turn away. I already got it. It's too late. Now, when you hear that, what do you think? She's bluffing, right?
Right.
She's bullshitting. She was just behind you. guys aren't even here. Literally, as you're going, guys aren't in your behind you.
Yeah.
Fighting like the things in the place.
Sure.
There's no. Okay. Also, you're opening, like, you're doing puzzles to open doorways and stuff. So there's no way she could pass because you have to do these puzzles to open these doorways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like basic shit. Like, there's a door. The door is to lift giant metal balls and drop other metal platforms. But if you ever picked up that that ball, it would disintegrate. So there's no way someone could have come before and closed it behind them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, like, the whole puzzle would never open again.
Sure.
So, like, it's those kinds of puzzles, and then you go through, and then, nope, she just is. She was ahead of you.
What?
And she did already get thing. And it's like, okay, then why did I go through?
Yeah, that
Like,
doesn't make any sense.
if she actually was ahead of me and actually did already get the thing, why didn't I just... And it's not like the game ever gives you that option either. The game's like, yeah, go ahead, turn or leave. No, you have to go for the story to progress. So now your character is just canonically an idiot.
Huh.
Also, she's canonically magic. Just teleport, apparently.
Yeah.
Like,
not very good writing.
Yeah, and like there's quite a few of those moments where it's just like clearly someone wrote a script, but then didn't like write it to fit along with the gameplay. So then somebody else made the gameplay, and then they like played the script gameplay, and when the two didn't line up, they were like, "Yeah, it's fine." Like you're like,
yeah, it's fine, whatever. We don't care.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense that she makes it there somehow, but sure, fuck it, why not? Like that's really what happened. And you're just like, oh, all right, I guess that happened. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But yeah, overall, fucking Christ, we've been going for 2 hours.
Yeah, no, I gotta go soon because I
Yeah.
gotta pick up my wife from work.
Overall, I would say, fucking just, if you like Star Wars, and if you like the new stuff,
yeah,
my personal opinion, take this quote, Captain Shack G game, headcanon, whatever version of Star Wars works in your head that you best. To that regard, if you don't like, or if you hear someone talk about Star Wars, and you disagree with what they're saying, maybe understand that it might be their own headcanon. Because I'll be honest, as much as Disney up or like has fucked up, I probably would be a lot more okay with this shit if less people talked shit to me, thinking that they knew.
Oh.
Shit.
I see.
If less people acted like that, if it was less toxic, I probably wouldn't care.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just because you watch the current shit doesn't give you a right to be toxic. Like, I'll watch people watch the new shit. Like, I'll rant to my wife about it. That's because she likes and she cares about my opinion on it. But I'm not going to go up to someone watching the new shit and tell them they're wrong about everything, because that's toxic as shit. So, if you don't agree with my opinion, fine. Or my opinions on the movie. Watch whatever, play whatever.
Yeah.
Most. That's really good. That's good. As long as you're enjoying Star Wars, that's all. That and not being a toxic asshole.
Sure. Yeah.
But with that, I think we'll go ahead and we'll end the stream. Is there anything else you want to show?
Well, not really. I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, because pretty much just go watch the originals and forget about everything else.
Yeah.
Everything.
Or prequels, because I like them.
Oh, you know what? Real quick, for next time we talk about this, we need to talk about the Ewok movies.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Those, I
That's-
mean, you want to talk about garbage? I mean, I even think that. Well,
Jesus Christ.
where they don't even speak English in that one either, and there's no
Oh,
subtitles,
God.
and
Yeah.
like the half the movie's just following Wicked around. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's your teaser
Yeah, for
video,
next time.
people. Fucking the Ewok.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's been 2.5 hours of streaming, so I think that's good.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye, everybody. Yeah. As always, guys, I'm Elwirfy, and I'll see you guys next time.